Sports welcomes you live to Austin, Texas. It's the longest track on the schedule, nearly 3.5 miles. 20 turns, the first of 5 road courses this season. The weather in the great state of Texas, a little overcast, but no chance of rain during the daytime. And it is a little breezy as you're getting a look at Denny Hamlin coming off a big victory. The Toyotas have rolled this season.
Red hot. William
Byron is on the pole. The Chevys have done their share of winning. And Christopher Bell, part of the Joe Gibbs racing team as well. The drivers getting ready to go on. Well, there's 39 drivers on a track that when they run F1 here, they only have 20. So things are going to be a little bit tighter. As we welcome you to, we're sitting up at the top at turn 1. It's really the best seat in the house. There's fans up here with our drivers, Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick. I'm Chris Myers, and thanks for being with us. Why is this such a good spot here? You see a great view behind us. What about drivers? How do they feel about it?
Well, we figured it wasn't blowing hard enough down at the bottom of the hill, so we would come to the top of the hill and see if it was any windier. But this is where the race is going to be won or lost.
Absolutely.
And it's going to start on the very first lap. This is the wildest turn 1 that you could possibly ever imagine because of the elevation change and everything that happens in turn 1. So they're going to be 4 or 5 wide. They're going to be running into the back of each other, and this is where you can make or break your day.
You mentioned fans. There's a reason all those fans are here right at the top of the hill. Restarts are crazy chaotic. 4, 5, 6, 12 wide. You never know what's going to happen here. But then as soon as you get past that, those S's, Kevin, a lot of action happens in the S corners.
Yeah,
yes.
We've already had, when you think about the kind of season it's been, the first 5 races, more leaders, more lead changes than ever before in the history of NASCAR. William Byron mentioned on the pole, his 13th career pole. He has yet to win a race from the pole. Another Toyota on that front row with him. Kyle Larson won the Xfinity race here yesterday. It was an emotional connection for the 17 car and the Hendrick family. And the restart zone on the road courses this year moved further back from the start-finish line. What does that really mean for the drivers? They lobbied for this, and it's already chaotic here with this kind of race. And which drivers will handle that the best?
Well, the restart zone got moved back to try to spread the field out because with this next-gen car, the cars are just so tough that you can basically just ram the guy in front of you and push him into the car in front of you. And
what's wrong with that?
Yeah, well,
a little persuasion, if you will.
A little persuasion,
okay.
As Chris Myers would say. But I think they wanted to spread the cars out. But the thing that has changed, Clint, is now at the end of the restart zone, you can go. You can pull out a line. You can do whatever you want. And they're still going to be 3, 4, 5 wide. They're going to be spread out nose to tail, hopefully a little further, but still fanning out.
Well, but to answer your question, what driver plays into that? It's the guys leading the pack, right? Whoever, especially when it comes down to restarts. We saw it yesterday in both races. Dive Bomb City, you know you're going to have it coming from behind. Shane Van Gisbergen, him, Larson, they put on a heck of a show. Austin Hill jumped into that, pushed him out of the way up at the top of the hill, returned the favor, handed it to Kyle Larson for the win. That's the crazy, chaotic racing that you can expect here at COTA.
And Clint's already been developing a strategy. He wants to cut through the grass right here.
Already saw
He's thinking that lane 6 and 7, he can cut through the grass. I disagree, but
race-winning move, Kevin.
He's making a new move.
Yeah, and Ty Gibbs, right, in his 57th try to win his first Cup race, may have a good shot, as we mentioned, equaling his best career start in the race. As we continue live, it's the 4th race that the Cup Series has run here. There's Kyle Larson, who had the success yesterday and has had success this year. And it's been March sadness for the Ford drivers. No victories, but the defending champion of Ford, Ryan Blaney, hopes to get them in gear as we continue live.
Still carrying that flag for sure, Ryan Blaney for the Ford camp.
Here's what's ahead on Around the Turn.
Race day is rolling along right here on Fox as Kevin Harvick sits down with last week's brightest star, Denny Hamlin. We'll find out if he's feeling more like the hero or the villain amongst JGR's recent success. Speaking of competition, Chase Elliott joins us before he attempts to get his 2nd win here in Austin. Then things get saucy as the man of the people reveals the key ingredient for a great tailgate. And back inside the course, Michael asks the hard-hitting questions on his grid walk amongst the stars. All that and more ahead on Fox.
I'm here at the EchoPark hospitality area with Alfonso. Alfonso, tell me about your car buying experience with EchoPark.
I sold my truck a couple of months ago. I have to say, without a doubt, it was probably the easiest and best experience I've ever had.
That's so nice. And I hear you got $2,000 more for your car than any competitor would give you.
I did. It was unbelievable. I got more money there than any other dealership by far.
And what sticks out to me is I will go back.
If I could leave more than 5 stars, I would, but I would definitely go back to EchoPark.
Well, you don't have to be a genius to take advantage of this great deal. Just go to EchoPark.com to learn more.
Driver of the 11 car, Denny Hamlin, has led in every race this year, the only driver to do so. Always one of the great personalities in this sport, as shown when he won last week at Bristol.
NASCAR put down resin compound.
We're going to start having issues. Got to take care of the tires. Do you think it's the resin that's causing the wear? I'm going to eat the tires right off this thing. Right rear's flat. Got a flat. You got enough tires at this rate?
Denny Hamlin wins a wild one in Bristol. Once it became a tire management race, really liked our chances.
Denny Hamlin is a very polarizing driver.
Feels so good to win in Bristol.
Well, Denny Hamlin, his 52nd career win. You know, you got to race against him, Kevin. I mean, just last year, you were out there through all of your years competing against him. Had a chance now to talk to him.
Yeah, Denny is such a polarizing personality, but he's a veteran. He's a pro. He works as hard as anybody in this garage, and he wins races. And I was excited to sit down with him and see what he had to say.
I appreciate you taking the time to come join us. As I tell everybody that I've raced against, it's a little bit awkward to sit down and actually have to interview you. So the first thing I want to ask about, Joe Gibbs busted you pretty bad this week about your jeans.
You would think after all these years the man could afford a pair of pants.
I knew when I walked out of the house, I looked down, I'm like, this is not gonna fly with Joe for sure. So I did remind him though, Joe, those pair of pants cost less than a set of tires.
Denny Hamlin has taken the race lead.
The race is on.
Got a pin here.
Denny Hamlin is going to win Bristol.
What was your opinion of the race? Obviously you won, so the opinion was pretty good.
It kind of landed right in my wheelhouse. But I found myself, even when I watched the race back, being wildly entertained. It's been a long time, maybe never in the Cup Series have I been part of a race where the driver played that huge of a role in the result.
Another one. My favorite racetrack. Thank you.
How big of a part was the crew chief? The dynamic between you guys is so good.
I don't think there's any secret that Chris has rejuvenated my career. I think he is just a guy that has really pushed me to get better. But I think of him like the head coach. I'm the quarterback, he's the head coach. That is my job, right, is to run whatever play he tells me.
Let's talk about this black hat situation. Not the one you have on
I
today.
got one on.
Yeah. Was there a time where you just said, screw it, take this on, I don't care, we need a villain?
It really took off after I did or did not get into Kyle Larson at Pocono.
Leaning on each other. Larson's in the fence.
I just feel like I've reached the point in my career where I'm comfortable in my own skin, and there's something about it that I feed off of. When I get into these incidences, that just gets the best out of me on the racetrack.
You throw a rock, I'm gonna throw a concrete block back. He's just a hack to hack and short track racing. I beat your favorite driver.
What's the year that you look back on and you say, man, that one got away from us?
I mean, 2010's the easiest answer. You know, it's just things didn't work out, but I'm at peace with, you know, whatever happens. But trust me, I'm working hard every day to continue to get better at every track so I can just keep giving myself opportunities.
Last fun question. Michael Jordan, Joe Gibbs, calling at the same time. Which one are you answering first?
Michael Jordan.
Well, he said he would answer that phone call first because Joe Gibbs has an unlisted number, and he thought it might be spam calling. But one of the one of the most intriguing parts of that interview for me, and I think one of the most important part of what happens on this grid in today's NASCAR world, driver-crew chief relationship. And when I listen to Chris Gabehart and Denny Hamlin on the radio, if Chris Gabehart tells Denny Hamlin to drive off of a cliff, he's going to drive it off of the cliff. And that's the kind of trust that it takes in order to win races and be competitive week after week.
Well, it was great as Denny is saying hi to the fans, and we're standing right next to his car. It was great seeing Michael Jordan yesterday out here at qualifying and practice. He talked obviously about the working relationship there. One road course win for him over his 52 career wins. And how about, you know, I guess people don't boo you a lot if you're not really good. So over his career, he's kind of eased into the villain role, but he certainly has personality, and he doesn't hold back.
That's sports. In any sport, if you win a little, they love you. You win a lot, they don't like you anymore. We saw it with our best, Dale Earnhardt. With, you know, he went through that in his career, and certainly Denny's there. But I like what you said. Driver, crew chief, communication, and it goes both ways. When Denny says something in that car, he listens and he goes to work and trying to make an adjustment for it.
And I know you guys have been on obviously Toyota dominating, especially Joe Gibbs. They've led 75% of the last two races, along with the 2 wins. Obviously, Denny Hamlin a part of that. Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell have contributed to success on that as well. Is this a year for Denny to win the championship real quick?
Well, they put a lot of emphasis on Phoenix, and we saw them go there and just absolutely stomp everybody. So Denny spun out, passing for the lead in that race. So they put a big emphasis on Phoenix, and I think that this could be the year that it all comes together.
Well, we'll continue live. Go ahead.
No. I think it comes down to races on racetracks like this. You have to be good on all forms of racing, and that's what Gibbs is doing right now.
Yeah, and again, this is the first of 5 road courses. There's a guy who's won more road courses than any other driver in today's race. We'll talk with Chase Elliott and Michael from the grid walk in Austin, where it's weird, and so he's a perfect fit. Fox Race Day continuing from the Circuit of the Americas. 100 acres just outside of downtown Austin, and that is the observation tower. As people way up there are just over 250 feet. It's a great view of the layout here and the race that we're counting you down to, where the fans, Clint Boyer, are always fun to talk to, and you find the best of them in your continuing search for the Tailgate King.
The Tailgate Kings is back, and every track's different right now. Hey, we all know to be a good tailgater, there's one element you must master, especially in a state like Texas, and that's good old barbecue. They had a barbecue competition here at COTA, and man, oh man, was it fun. I got in on the judging, Kevin. These ribs were dynamite, so good.
We all know in Texas, y'all take your barbecue serious. Who's the best?
I am.
That's 3 of the 5 that said you're the best.
7-time world champion.
7 times. But I also know you can't trust a skinny chef, and I don't know that they have that down yet. They are all skinny.
Hold on.
You're in big trouble.
3 extra above.
All right, boys, judging this thing, how's it work? So 1 bite?
How it tastes and the texture.
These are the top 4 ribs of America right here. The suspense is killing me. I cannot wait any longer. Here we go. This one. Holy smokes. Ah! Winner! All right, guys, that's all. I'm going to go ahead and stay. I'm good. Shoo-shoo.
What you didn't see right there is they set me up, Kevin. They put 1 through 4 underneath of it, right? Marked them out, and I had to see which one was the best. It'd be according to the judges. I nailed it. I won right there. They were so good.
Well, you are a professional eater.
Yes. And other things. Don't forget to hit him up on Clint Boyer on X for the next stop.
Richmond, you're on deck.
We'll be there, right, Easter
You're
evening.
on deck.
That should be it was kind of like a NASCAR tailgate crawl, I mean, in these parts. Let's welcome in Chase Elliott. He's got his share of fans. Again, most popular driver. He won the very first Cup race held at this track. 7 of his 18 career wins have been on road courses. And coming off his best finish of the season, 8th at Bristol in the 9 car, starting 9th today. And Chase, it's good to see you. You won the first time here, and you were 4th, I think, the second time. And then, of course, last year, injury you missed. What's your thought process, or maybe your mindset coming into today's race here?
Yeah, the toughest thing for me this weekend is the time it's been since I've been here. It's been 2 years, obviously, skipping the race last year. So just trying to get back up to speed, and road course racing is so much about rhythm and finding a good cadence and getting in a good flow. At least for me, that's the most important piece. And then I feel like the pace will follow that. So just trying to find that rhythm and flow has been the challenge this weekend, but was happy with the progress yesterday by the time we got to qualifying with our Napa Chevy, and looking forward to just getting some more laps. That's always helpful for me, and to finding that. So excited.
I was the same type of driver. I had to get into a flow and a rhythm. When you switch from the old car to the new car, what's the biggest difference that you had to concentrate on to get used to this new next-gen car on the road races?
I think the biggest thing were the brakes to start. The brakes had such a different feel, and I don't really know why, because we always had big brakes on road course cars, even with the old generation cars. So just I'm not sure what about the braking system that was different, but it certainly seems like it likes a different feel. And then obviously just trying to balance out those rear stop loads and understand how hard you can be on them. Obviously we're really aggressive across the curbs. Low air makes those stops feel worse, so balancing all those things out. So I'd say a combination of the rear stops and how aggressive you have to be on those things, and the braking system.
Well, and I've called those races, Chase. I remember vividly watching you win these races. That's where your strong suit was, with that old car, under the brakes. So it's funny that you bring that up,
yeah.
Being what you're struggling with this. Last time we were here, we were actually calling the race together, right?
We were.
You were in Colorado, banged up, and I was up in the booth. We were calling this thing, guys. Had so much fun, but obviously way more fun calling you out on this racetrack. Great memories here.
Yeah, for sure. It was about 15 of us trying to call the race last year. You should have been there. It was.
Yeah, your dad was there.
It was entertaining. But it was, yeah, definitely. You never want to watch a race from the couch, especially when your car is on the track. And a lot more fun being here. But yeah, the race last year was crazy. It looked like the restart zone adjustments that they had made yesterday, at least, made us look not as dumb as it was at the end of that race last year. It was there were times at the end of that thing I just wanted to cover my face. I was watching that thing from the couch. I'm like, do we look like this all the time? So I do think that it's better, and obviously I thought it was a really good race yesterday, and I think you're in to see some more of that today.
Yeah, and I know the drivers lobbied or petitioned for that restart zone, and so you're happy with it, and we look forward to seeing you in action today. All right, have a good one. Thanks, Chase.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Good day. All right, in his Chevrolet, and he's, as I mentioned, won more road courses than any other driver in the mix, and that's why he's on the favorites board. Tyler Reddick won this race last year. Kevin, who jumps out at you on this list?
You guys know I like the top of the board, so I'm going with Tyler Reddick. He's won here.
You're going to leave that? All right, then I'm going to go right down the board, just a couple. Ty Gibbs, both Toyotas, mind you.
And we're looking for Fords to make some noise on the long shot. On the long shot board, got Allmendinger up there. Austin Cindric was pretty good in practice, or qualifying, I should say, among the Fords.
Yeah, well, you put the long shots on that board, and probably Denny Hamlin. If I'm going to have to take one off of that board.
No chance. AJ Allmendinger, he was really good here last year. Always a good road course racer. Was good yesterday. AJ Allmendinger all the way.
And is this where maybe Kyle Busch, who's been good on road courses, can break through? You guys are going to head up to the booth with Mike Joy to call the race. Look forward to it. It's a great one last week. We're really on a roll here.
It's going to be another one today.
Fantastic races. Yeah, don't forget all that kind of stopping, starting. What do we have? Speeds from 40 miles per hour up to 170 miles per hour. That's the adjustment, and they'll have to handle those 20 turns. The Grid Walk with Michael Waltrip live from Austin, Texas, as we count you down closer to the start of the race. Stay with us. I hope you will. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering every lap, every mile, and every victory on the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven.
Stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
The heart of Texas. Well, That means a lot of things to a lot of different people.
You know, Texas is just about the star, the flag.
Cowboy boots and Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Good family, good food, good friends.
Living life and having fun, man.
Like a community. When you come here, I think you feel that.
God, family, and country, man. Let's go.
This is home for me.
Everything's bigger in Texas. You've never heard that, have you?
But what happens when something makes that hard skip a beat?
And I'm finally going from Austin. You finally settled down.
You know the feeling. That feeling of seeing something new for the first time. Something different. Something possibly even weird. That heartbeat starts to feel irregular. Your chest tightens. You lose your breath. Is this love? Hell, I don't know. It might be. One thing I do know. This is Austin.
And just moments away, live from Austin, start of the race. Keep Austin weird. Michael Waltrip, the perfect guy to do that on his grid walk. And Michael, hey, I like those pants. Very weird, very stylish.
That's me, Chris. You know well that that's what I do. I've caught up with Tyler Reddick and Steve Sarkisian, Texas head coach. How good's that sound?
Sounds really good, man, especially in Austin, Texas, that's for sure.
I brought you a present. That's my car. I used to race for Texas, if you see that.
Well, how about that? We got to get him to drive one that says like 2025. You know what I mean? National champs, and get you one of these. That's pretty sweet.
His motto is all gas, no brakes. We got a little bit of bad news for him today, don't we?
Yes, the brake pedal is important here, but that's a great saying. I think I had on one of my helmets at Darlington a couple years ago. So, I mean, I do like to live by that motto, but yeah, the brakes are really important here for sure.
Sorry, Steve.
Well, I understand. You know, we're not an oval course today, so we're gonna need some brakes.
You got it. We're gonna get some brakes too. See what Willie B's doing. What are y'all talking about? Are you downloading all some important information there?
He's got key info for the start here.
Have fun. Skeet Ulrich, Giancarlo, how are you, sir?
Doing great, thank you.
I'm Michael Waltrip. This is the Grid Walk on Fox Sports. We wander the grid, talk to the stars, and you two stars have a new show. And I know you're a part of the racing family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have a show called Parish. Comes out on AMC next Sunday.
Oh, that's cool. He is Ricky Rudd's nephew, Skeet Ulrich, and he's one of my favorite actors. You're going to get to have some fun today with the flag and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
Grand Marshal, baby. Happy to be here. I play a driver in Parish. I'm happy to be here to see the real drivers do their thing.
Can I have your hat?
Sure can.
Oh, thank you.
Got it.
We're going to the ceremonies.
Please welcome a longtime Austin native, Longhorn legend, and current LA Chargers kicker, Cameron Dicker.
Lord, I thank you for the opportunity for all of us to be here today, Father. I pray that you're with these men as they're out there on the track today. Keep them safe throughout the whole day. Most importantly, I pray that your love just fills everybody's heart in here today, Father. Through the highs and lows of the day, I pray that you just allow us to feel your love and have us pray to you all day, every day. So I thank you for everything you do in Jesus' name.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from the San Antonio Police Department, Officer Rebecca Vermeulen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, saved us that star-spangled banner yet wave. Oh,
who could be the first repeat winner in Austin, or maybe we'll see the first repeat winner this season. Stay with us on Fox and you'll find out.
NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights on FS1.
For the elite competitor, next is a way of life.
This is one of the big shows in NASCAR.
While we love to romanticize the past,
Denny Hamlin is going to win Bristol.
they know it's a fleeting distraction.
Here they come to the green.
Green flag.
Because in the unforgiving grind of professional sport, everything moves too quickly for extended glances in the rearview mirror. And the best way to approach the unpredictable twists and turns of a season is with a laser focus on what's immediately ahead.
Fox Sports welcomes you to Austin, Texas, and the EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix from Circuit of the Americas. Today, 39 elite athletes, drivers born in the United States, Mexico, New Zealand, and Japan, will face one of the toughest tests in all of the 36-race NASCAR Cup season. This demanding 20-turn road course for 232 miles. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy with Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer. Kevin, what makes this one of the toughest challenges anywhere in this sport?
Everything. This track has everything. It has high-speed corners, slow-speed corners, heavy braking, light braking. You got to go uphill, downhill, and oh, by the way, you can make a lot of mistakes on every lap. As a driver, you will not make a perfect lap all day.
Not one, Kevin?
Not one.
Boy, somebody better, or they're not going to win this thing. But it does truly have it. The restarts are always crazy chaotic. And what drivers does that play a role in? Man, these Toyotas have been red hot. I think it stays that way. I think Tyler Reddick is going to obviously have a great day today. Ty Gibbs, can he get this first win that he's been looking for?
We don't know if there's one corner here that contributes to a perfect lap, but we know of Calamity Corner, and there are two of them. Turn 1 coming up that huge rise down the front straightaway, and turn 8.
Well, turn 1 is going to start right off the bat on the original start here, because you have to take all the track position that you can get. But you better be on defense too, and you better know who's around you and where you can go and where you can't go, because they're going to run into each other, they're going to push each other wide, and there's going to be half of them mad at each other before we even make it to turn 2.
Well, it's certainly the first passing opportunity, but you can take a lot more than an opportunity. Then you come all the way around the racetrack to turn 11, turn 12. That really opens the door up. But let's look at this overhead right here. You can see straight up the hill, over 100 feet of elevation change from the straight of the front stretch up there to the hill, the top of the hill, down through the S's, Kevin. A lot of speed here.
Well, and the S's is all about rhythm. This is a very uniquely shaped S's, but it's all downhill. So you get into turn 3, and as you go from 4, 5 to 6, it's all trying to just manage the speed with the brakes and the throttle and put the car in the right spot so you don't go over those curbs and get a penalty.
Those S's have track limits. We'll discuss that in detail a bit later, but NASCAR will monitor drivers who stray too far off course, trying to straighten out what Buddy Baker once said of Riverside, California. The S's? You mean that straightaway with dirt on each side? Yeah. Then turn 8. Boy, there's some divots to the inside of that if you vary off track, and some of that dirt, well, it'll end up on the racetrack. Lots of challenges here at Circuit of the Americas, a track built for Formula One. Just outside Austin, Texas, plays host to F1, to motorcycle racing a month from now. But this weekend, the focus is on NASCAR, and today, it's Premier Series, NASCAR Cup. Let's go trackside.
Circuit of the Americas. This is the moment you have all been waiting for. Are you ready to get the NASCAR Cup Series EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix started? Here to give the command to fire engines is Emmy and SAG nominee Giancarlo Esposito.
Drivers, start your engines!
This four-wheeled soap opera is about to play out over the twists and turns of the 20-turn road course in Texas. Welcome back to the EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix on Fox. Let's have a look at this 20-turn road course.
It starts right here up the top of the hill, turn 1, Calamity Hill. You see a lot of wheel lockup. We saw yesterday in practice and qualifying, and these massive, crazy, chaotic restarts, 3, 4, 5, who knows, 12 wide. Now you get down to the S's. A lot of speed here, Kevin, all the way through, switching back left, right. Turn 8, look for turn 8. We're seeing a lot of stuff. The thing about the S is you have to be careful of and mindful of as a driver. There's a penalty. You get those 4 tires underneath those rumble strips, it's a penalty, foul every time.
Yeah, and as you go from 7 to 8, 8 is where we're going to have a lot of dirt on the racetrack as the drivers will try to cut inside of the racetrack and hook the car around the corner. You see this huge divot that they dug during the Xfinity race yesterday, and if you're offline right there, it's massive lap time and you open yourself up to get past going into turn 11. As we go down into turn 11, this sets up a long straightaway all the way down to 12 to another passing zone, and also a spot that where you can get collected just like that.
That wasn't a very good pass.
Yeah, that was not a good pass right there, but as you go into turn 12, it sets up this stadium section in 13, 14, 15 that allows you to get a run over to this carousel, 16, 17, 18, that goes over through the momentum here through this carousel over into 19 and 20, which set up the last 2 corners on the course, and also a great spot to pass in 20.
Look at the elevation change. Obviously the observation deck, 250 feet, very cool, but 134 feet all the way up the hill to that turn 1.
You guys sound out of breath.
Yeah, that's
just
a long
describing it, never mind driving it.
Wait till you see these drivers.
Yeah. Let's check in with one of those guys right now. Hey, William Byron, Kevin up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Hey, buddy, you've had a lot of success qualifying well. What is it going to take today to turn that pole position into a win?
Yeah, it's just going to take solid execution, just kind of keep our wits about us all race, just stay cool and get through all the different strategy calls and plays, you know, whether we lose some track position at times or gain it. So just try to do my job in here, drive the best I can, and put ourselves up front at the end.
All right, man. Thanks for talking to us. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And with that, let's take a look at the EchoPark Automotive starting grid for today's race. You've heard from William Byron, who has won the pole here for the 2nd year in a row. Ty Gibbs has tied his best career start as he will share the front row. Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick, both in Toyotas, in row number 2. And let's have Clint dial up Tyler Reddick, defending champ of this race.
Tyler Reddick, Sporing the boys up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. Got you guys.
Man, all eyes are on you. Obviously won this race last year. A lot of confidence rolling into this weekend, and still bad fast. What do you got for me?
Yeah, it was adventurous day of practice and qualifying for us, but yeah, it was good to be able to rebound from my mistake in round 2 and on hot tires place it 3rd in the qualifying order. So got some cars to pass, but we got a decent pit stall, and I'm excited to see what this thing has on the long run compared to our competition.
Well, man, I appreciate the time. We're excited to watch you. Good luck out there, bud.
Thank you, guys.
All right, row 3, Corey LaJoie with his career best start, and Ross Chastain, whose first Cup win was memorable. It came here in 2021. Regan Smith.
Well, Mike, you're exactly right. 2 years ago, Ross Chastain in Trackhouse Racing served notice to the entire Cup series that they were here to stay, scoring his first win and the company's first win at Circuit of the Americas. This is a track that Ross has been very good at, top 5s in all of his starts as he's come to Circuit of the Americas. He said, I've had comfort since the first laps on this racetrack. This weekend, the same thing. He qualified 6th yesterday, good in practice, felt very good about his race car, and their chances to go out there and get another win at Circuit of the Americas.
Let's look at row 4. A 5-time road course winner, Martin Truex Jr., and last week's winner at Bristol, Denny Hamlin.
Row 5, Chase Elliott, 7-time road course winner, folks. And then on his outside, Bubba Wallace, I can't believe I'm saying this, yet to finish a race at COTA. Fast in practice, though.
All right, row number 6, Austin Cindric, the best performing Ford in qualifying. Shane Van Gisbergen from New Zealand, the Chicago winner last year, 3-time Supercar champ, and the leader of our road course ringers, along with A.J. Allmendinger and Kamui Kobayashi from Japan, both part-timers on the Cup Series here, trying to steal a win. Jamie Little.
Well, Shane Van Gisbergen making his third career Cup start. He's got that win, as you mentioned, top 10 in the other one. Now, he's running full-time in the Xfinity Series. So yesterday, he ran the race here, and what a show he put on. Now, he came across the line in second, but he was penalized through the S's, a place we're going to be watching all day. He ended up 27th. Today, he rolls off 12th. I don't expect that 16 car to stay there very long. Josh Sims.
Well, Jamie, Alex Bowman is one of just 3 drivers to finish in the top 10 of all 3 races here in Austin. When I asked him about that earlier, he said, there's something about this track that gives me an edge. I'm not a road course guy, but I've found success here. Where he hasn't found success, that's qualifying. Been the Achilles heel of this team, and it happened once again. Qualified 17th, but during practice, he said he felt good about the car, and if he can work his way through the field, he should be a factor. Once again, guys.
Thanks, Josh. Field comes down pit road to check pit road speed. And there's a special EchoPark Automotive pace car leading the field today with Michael Waltrip behind the wheel, giving EchoPark 5-star review customers a ride of a lifetime.
I'm here at the EchoPark hospitality area with my buddy RJ. RJ, you bought a car through EchoPark.
Yes,
Tell
I
me
did.
about your experience.
I had a lot of different options and variety to choose from. Had a 10 out of 10 experience.
50% of the cars at EchoPark are $25,000 or less. That's a real deal. What sticks out to me, she went above and beyond. That's what EchoPark is all about.
Absolutely. Would recommend this dealership to anybody.
You know what you're going to get to do now? Hop in this car and go for a pace car ride around the track.
Awesome. Let's go.
Let's do it. You can go to EchoPark.com to learn more.
Well, as we get set to go road racing in Texas, let's take a closer look at the Cup Cars sequential shifter with our crew chief, Larry McReynolds.
Yeah, Mike, shifting will be the name of the game. That 5-speed sequential shifter will get a workout with a driver shifting about 20 to 24 times a lap. Let's go to our Toyota Camry cutaway car, and we'll show you actually how this system works. You see the shift lever there. As we took the body off of our Camry, it is hooked to a shifter rod that goes through the rear firewall to the gearbox. Now, when you go back to the shift lever itself, you just downshifting and upshifting. Now, to downshift, what you do getting in the corner, you go 4th, 3rd, just keep moving ahead. They'll go to first gear here on this racetrack 6 to 7 times a lap. To upshift, you just keep pulling it back. We'll go to 5th at least one time down that long back straightaway between 11 and 12. Mike, if you do the numbers 20 to 24 times a lap, that's about 1,400 times they'll be shifting today.
What you have to be careful of if you're Shane Van Gisbergen, Larson, some of these guys that were in yesterday's race, that's an H pattern. Do not make a mistake and downshift this race car and blow the motor up. Seen it before here.
The other thing you got to be aware of is you're going to be wore out because it is a busy day inside of that car.
There's the Toyota Camry XSE that leads the field, due in showrooms soon. Brand new look.
They didn't let Michael drive that one, did they?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
He might not pull in when we get ready to go green.
Pull a Richard Petty.
Well, yesterday was a beautiful, sunny, warm spring day, and then the clouds came in. Winds earlier gusted to 35 miles an hour. They have calmed down to about 18 now. Above 70 degrees, but there's a nice cloud cover. No suntan oil today.
Love this racetrack, Kevin. I mean, absolutely beautiful, world-class facility everywhere you look.
15, 15, and 38. Those are the lap lengths of the 3 stages in this race. You'll need fuel every 22 to 24 laps, and 3 drivers will go to the rear. Chris Buescher had a steering rack problem. They had to change that. Ryan Prix over-revved his engine. They changed the valve springs, and Timmy Hill will drop back 1 row. Now we've got a new restart zone at Circuit of the Americas, and it's located just at the exit of turn 20, the final turn on the course.
Yeah, and they're going to use that right off the bat here. And the thing that has changed, the starter and the start-finish line will not be the one starting the race. When they get to this restart box and you get to the last line, it is game on. So they'll be 2 and 3, 4 wide before they get to the start-finish line and shoot that thing straight up the hill to let the action begin.
Then you see the repaves, right? We have new repavement off of 1, down in 9, 10, and 11. Passing zones, folks, getting into turn 12, very important corner. Keep an eye on that. A lot happens there.
William Byron and Ty Gibbs coming up to turn 19. Now look at that big wide area outside of turn 19. That is not out of bounds. Out of bounds only in the S's, turns 3 to 6. So, I mean, if it's paved, you can go there.
I think on the restart zone, Kevin, going back to that for just a second, one thing you'll notice right off the bat, there's no longer a rule where you have to get to the start-finish line before you can fan out. They'll be 3, 4, 5 wide. As soon as you get past the restart zone, you're going to see it right here.
And the EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix is underway. Boy, 3 wide, and Ty Gibbs sort of missed that corner. He's back now battling for 5th instead of the lead. 3rd, 4th, 5th. Reddick wasting no time going after William Byron.
Well, we knew Tyler Reddick would be tough here, and you heard him talk about his mistakes in qualifying and how they were able to rebound on hot tires, and that tells me he has a lot of confidence in how fast his car is.
And William Byron's going to have something to say about it, too. He was fast last year, always has plenty of speed in that hot rod, and that will be no different today.
And
he
here
will
we go.
give these guys fits.
There you see all the dirt in turn 8. That's going to be the corner that we talk about a lot today. You're going to probably see some cars spin out there because of all that dirt on the racetrack.
Down into turn number 11, the hairpin that leads onto the longest straightaway.
Somewhat of a passing zone as you see Chastain looking to the inside, 3 wide to Denny.
He's going to pass 2 of them.
Yes, LaJoy. Corey LaJoy's having trouble. I want to give him a shout out before it's too late. Fifth place start for it. Look at this.
Bubba Wallace got into the side of Corey LaJoy really hard, so not sure what happened there, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, A.J. Allmendinger involved, got way up to the outside. More contact back there.
Bubba's still having trouble back there. You heard me say he's yet to finish a race here at COTA. The woes continue for Bubba Wallace here.
Remember, no out of bounds on this area of the course. In fact, everywhere except the S's turns 3 to 6.
Yeah, this infield section right here is so technical. You got to put the car in the right spot. Easy to spin the back tires. Not really any new asphalt in there. But I don't anticipate with this cloud cover seeing much fall off today, even though the tires are easy to spin through that section.
We already see the stars lining up for the Toyotas. There they are, 1, 2, 3, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Obviously Chastain's there, so is Byron leading the race. But these guys they're here to play today. You're going to see a lot of them.
Martin Truex to pit road along with Bubba Wallace.
That's damage on that first lap. Let's listen along what Bubba says.
I'm going to come to you. The body on the right front doesn't look terrible. I don't know what you feel. My steering mark is at 1 o'clock.
Jamie.
Just listening to the radio right now, Booty Barker, his crew chief, said, let's just make sure the right front is clear. Make sure everything is clear. Take your time here. Let's get it right so we can continue contending. They really feel like they have a good piece here, guys. They qualified 10th. Get some new tires on it, top it off with the wheel, and down he goes.
Yeah, no problem pitting here and staying on the lead lap.
Yeah, the big problem I heard out of that conversation, you want the wheel at 12 o'clock, and he said it was at 1 o'clock, which tells me that the toe is knocked out on the front end of that car.
Not good.
No, and when we talk about the toe, that just means the alignment of the front tires and them running straight.
You see LaJoy back there. I would say that's a toe link problem on the rear.
And here's what happened to him.
Corey LaJoy had to come back up the racetrack because he was in the dirt.
Harrison Burton around at the top of the hill.
Martin Truex pitted because he thought he might have a tire going down as a result of that contact.
Yeah, he had a lot of left front damage on the left front of his car.
And here's the Harrison Burton spin. He cut across the nose of Josh Berry and ended up getting turned around.
There's so much happening on the beginning parts of these racetracks because you've got some guys who feel like they're way faster than the guys that they're racing around. Everybody's trying to get all the track position that they can while the cars are stacked together in these braking zones, and they wind up running over each other trying to make up ground or trying to protect their ground.
About a 6-car breakaway. Austin Cindric has picked up 4 spots since the start of the race, from 11th to 7th, looking back from Ty Gibbs. running third at Christopher Bell from the Monster Energy Cam.
Man, what a lap by William Byron. That is a 2:12. That's fast. He is laying some lap downs early. Reddick is in the ball game there. 2:12.93 out of him. 2:12.48 for your leader, William Byron. Fast race car.
Yeah, and that's what concerns me. I think that the Toyotas and the Gibbs cars, they seem to be able to hold on. So it'll be interesting to see if William Byron can hold on to this pace or if it's just for a handful of laps.
Yeah, short run speed is one thing. Good on restarts. But here today, we know long runs are going to be key.
Oh, what a shot right here, Clinton. We got our drone flying through the S's, and as you come down from turn 1 and you come down the elevation into those S's, such a rhythm section.
Byron out to a 1.6 second lead on Reddick. Gibbs within 3 seconds. Bell, Chastain, Hamlin, and then Cindric trying to keep Chase Elliott at bay with Allmendinger and Kyle Busch right behind to fill out the top 10. No Fords qualified in the top 10, but Cindric, who started 11th, said, I had a top 10 car, just had a car in front of me on my fast lap in qualifying at turn 1, and that ruined the lap. He said, we'll get up there, and he's done just that. He's climbed to 7th, up 4 spots from the start.
Got some damage on the nose of that race car.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of them stack up. You see the hood way up on that car, which tells me that
see the front smash too.
He's definitely been into the back of somebody, and what you worry about there is the splitter and the nose separating from each other, and aerodynamically that will make the car not turn as good.
See Michael McDowell, Noah Gragson way up through the field too. McDowell up 11 spots, Gragson 10.
Well, I can promise you, we see 3 wide again there.
More struggles for Corey LaJoie. Great start. Top 5 start for him. That's overachieving big time for that race team. They had some heavy hitters around them. Making that final 10 is one thing, and even moving up through there for a 5th place start. That's a good job, Corey LaJoie.
Yeah, and as we look out of our Toyota onboard camera here with Kamui Kobayashi, he's trying to just figure out what he's doing right now with the race etiquette and where to pass, where not to pass, but it seemed like in our pre-race interview, it seems like he's having a lot of fun coming over here to America and racing. Jamie?
Well, just to follow up on Corey LaJoie, he started 5th. That's the best in his whole career. He was so optimistic about the car he had. He did a lot of simulation work for this race, but the damage you guys talked about, he came on the radio and said both left side tires are damaged. He's struggling.
Yeah, he's all the way back to 24th place from 5th.
Well, and that's the biggest thing that you're going to have to protect all day at the start of these stages when they go up into turn 1, and all the contact for that first lap is the cars, like we talked about, those cars get bunched together, and everybody knows you have to go and gain as much as you can, and if you're not going, you have to protect yourself as much as you can to lose the least amount of spots.
Chase Elliott under fire here from Kyle Busch. They've run nose to tail for quite some time, but now Busch's mirror is filled up with Kyle Larson, yesterday's winner in the Xfinity Series. This is the best battle on the racetrack here.
We know Kyle Larson's good everywhere. He's a good race car driver. We know that, but he's squeaky good on these road courses. Quiet.
See Kyle Busch on the inside of Chase Elliott there. 2 guys who both need to have a good run. Chase Elliott so dominant for so many years on these road courses, and Kyle Busch, he's had kind of a disastrous last couple of weeks. Both capable of running up front all day here.
Hold on to it.
Kyle Larson, yesterday's winner in the Xfinity race. They put tires on late. I'm interested to see if we get to a point where these cars fall off as much as we hope they do, to be able to have tires mean that much.
Byron extending his lead, now 2.4, the front 5 with a good gap on 6th place Denny Hamlin, with Cindric now going for 6th. Cindric up to 6th now over Hamlin and Allmendinger. There's the leaf filter cam. Allmendinger right back at it on the outside. Boy, he had a lot to say about yesterday's outcome as well. 4 laps complete. Last year, William Byron led 28 laps after winning the pole for this race. NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. 5 laps completed, Circuit of the Americas. William Byron leading in his Hendrick Chevrolet, still by 2.7 seconds over the Toyota of Tyler Reddick. Now, penalties for cutting the track in turns 3, 4, 5, and 6, the S's. John Hunter Nemechek has been nabbed at turn number 4. When that happens under green, you have to do a pass-through penalty. If it happened under caution, he'd have to restart tail end of the longest line. And if you don't serve your penalty before the end of the stage or end of the race, well, 30-second penalty added to your race time. So Nemechek will drive down at pit road speed.
There's a pass for second. I knew it was coming. Gibbs has been a little bit faster than Reddick in second. Got the pass done. Byron obviously leading this race, laying some good lap times down. But that Gibbs boy, he's coming, folks.
All right, 6 laps complete. Let's take a look at what's on the menu, sponsored by Cracker Barrel.
And Mike, it has all to do with strategy. And remember, stage breaks are back at the road courses in 2024. So flip the stages. Pit before stage 1 and stage 2 ends. Remember, they close pit road with 2 to go at the end of those 2 stages. Another option, I saw the 12 car do this 2 years ago. Pit at the end of stage 1, stay out at the end of stage 2, and then when your fuel window opens to make it to the end of the race, lap 44 or so, pit for fuel. I think they'll start crafting a way to make this on 2 stops, but regardless of what strategy, when that fuel window opens to make it to the end, lap 44, around 24 to go, pit for fuel, and possibly, guys, pack the pit equipment up. You might be done.
Thanks, Larry. 6 complete. Ty Gibbs working on Tyler Reddick and making the pass for second, put him another second behind William Byron. So the lead now 3.5.
Well, you called it, Clint, and as we go through 8, 9, and 10 right here into 11, that's a really good section for Ty Gibbs, and we're going to start to get a good feel for what the lap time is compared to William Byron, our leader, from Ty Gibbs as we come around this time. See him look down, probably making some adjustments to his brake bias knob, going all the way down from 11 to 12, all the way up to 5th gear. Brake about the time you get to this new asphalt right here. Has a little elevation change that you go in the apex of this corner, kind of falls down the hill right there, and then it switches back to the old asphalt right here, going inside this stadium section to where it's just really, really slick compared to everything else that you've done for the last couple corners.
Chevrolet leading, Toyota's 2, 3, 4. The first Ford is Austin Cindric in 7. Here comes Christopher Bell.
Yeah, and through this carousel section right here, it's just manage the slide of the car. Just give it as much throttle as it'll take without chatter in the front or the back tires and get it over to turn 19. But I think Tyler Reddick he obviously knows that Christopher Bell and Ty Gibbs are better than him right now. Just kind of moves over.
Yeah, I think that obviously he's shocked by that. It's shocking me as much as it probably is him. I thought he would march right to the front.
Check with Regan Smith.
Michael McDowell, traditionally very, very good on the road courses. Indy road course winner from 1 year ago. Struggles this weekend, though. He had not had the grip that he anticipated so far in the weekend, but up 11 spots early on in the race. Team been coaching him up, telling him turn 11 is where he's losing the spots. Michael's been quiet about the car right now. Keep an eye on him as he's moving up through the field.
Michael carrying our Ford Performance camera array, and that includes a foot cam.
Well, he's in a great spot to start looking at that foot cam as he goes through turn 2 into turn 3, and this is going to show you the rhythm section through the S's. You just see him just gently touch the brake and downshift into 4, and now you just try to manage the speed down to the bottom of 6 and over to 7. That's turn 7 that he's in right now. You hear the car slam into the ground. Don't overdrive turn 8. You've got to hook this lip to stay inside of the dirt. Jump over turn 7 right here. Now he's headed down to the heavy braking section in turn 11. You're going to see heavy, heavy braking, downshift.
Just look how busy he is.
It's all day, Clint. I mean, this is just a busy, busy track with all the shifting and heavy braking. Your feet are sore, your back is sore, your neck is sore. It's a very, very physical racetrack for the drivers, and you just have so much to do all day long.
39 drivers in this race. 38 of them brake with their left foot.
Well, the one guy that doesn't brake with his left foot is SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, and we saw him come to Chicago and put on a clinic in the rain, and we'll show you some of that as we go through the day. Right now, Shane is running 13th, had a heck of a day yesterday, running the Xfinity race and shifting that age pattern on a road course for the first time. So it's been a good weekend. Not the finish that he wanted, but I think he's going to be in the mix before we get done with today. Jamie?
And I talked to his crew chief, Travis Mack, about that heel-toe braking. He said that's just what he's always done. He's very comfortable with it, and because of that, we have to spend a lot of time working on the pedal placement of the clutch, the brake, and the throttle, getting exactly where he wants so he can maximize that heel-toe. But Kevin and Clint, I'm curious why not all drivers do that and why he is the only one.
Well, I think that's a really old school way of learning how to road race. You used to have to heel and toe everything together because you had to use the clutch. And once the transmissions really evolved into what they are today, it was just today it's sequential, but you didn't have to use the clutch to upshift or downshift.
And the fact that he grew up racing on the other side of the earth, right? Yeah. I mean, he grew up in a whole different deal. Australia, supercar racing, even on the wrong side of the car, folks. A lot of differences here today for Shane Van Gisbergen.
7 to go in stage 1. Ty Gibbs eating into William Byron's lead.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sorts you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You got to pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related. So.
Ah, yeah. Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
You're invited to a Texas-sized party. NASCAR drives into the Lone Star State for a 3-day thrill ride that only Texas Motor Speedway can deliver. Busher, Elliott, and Larson battle it out for a killer hat and a sweet trophy. 38 Special rocks the track, and Lone Star sideshows you have to see to believe. Join us April 12th to the 14th for the Auto Trader EchoPark Automotive 400. This is more than a race. It's a no-limits experience.
When I was your age, we never had anything like this.
What, Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi that works all over the house, even the basement.
The basement? So I can finally throw that party and invite Shannon Barnes.
Dreams do come true. Xfinity gives you reliable Wi-Fi with wall-to-wall coverage on all your devices, even when everyone is online.
Maybe we'll even get married one day.
I wonder what I'll be doing.
Probably still living here with Mom and Dad.
Fast, reliable speeds right where you need them. That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi on the Xfinity 10G network.
A new era of spring football kicks off. Saturday, the USFL champs versus the XFL champs. UFL kickoff weekend, Saturday at 1 on Fox and Sunday on ESPN.
Order Pizza Hut now and get a free large pizza later. That's a free pizza on your next order. So you can pizza now, then pizza again. Free pizza means your next dinner is covered. Your future self will thank you. Get it while it's hot. Only at Pizza Hut.
What does fearless look like? Like trading paint with a champion? Find out for yourself. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Everything's bigger in Texas. Seems like everything's faster, too. 20 turns of Circuit of the Americas, 9 laps in. William Byron's lead cut to 2.3 seconds by Ty Gibbs. It kind of varies depending on which corner they're in, between 2 and 2.5 seconds as they go around this course. But Gibbs has him in sight.
Yeah, well, Ty is a little bit better than Byron, but Bell is way better than them both. It just depends on how you hit the lap.
Now behind these three, Tyler Reddick, who started third, running fourth. Josh?
Well, guys, it's a shift in who's considered the road course king in the Cup Series. As of late, it really has been Tyler Reddick. We saw him get those important wins on road courses, including here last year, and it's on a mantle that his crew chief says he really likes it. He takes pride in it. He's gotten much better at this type of racing. Now, today, he's lost a spot already since the start. His biggest complaint right now, a little tight in the stadium for the carousel.
5 to go in stage one. The stage lengths 15, 15, and 38 laps.
They've cut some more into his lead, Kevin.
Yeah, both Ty Gibbs and Christopher Bell, we felt like had probably the best long-run cars yesterday in practice, and that was the question that we had about William Byron is how long would his car hold on? And it looks like the two Gibbs cars behind him are going to hold on a little bit better than his right now.
Catching him's one thing, passing him's another from this stage end.
I was just going to say, he's got the track position.
And you heard Larry tell us maybe, more than likely, probably pit before that stage end. That's going to be a variable to keep in mind as well.
NASCAR control is usually right alongside us up here on the second floor at most of these racetracks, but here they're down on the first floor in a room with no windows, with more than 70 TV screens aimed at different parts of the course so they can officiate this. And to help manage whether someone cuts the course in the S's, they have software designed by a Spanish company that provides it to Formula One for managing drivers who stray outside of track limits. So that comes up on the computer from that software. An official reviews it, sends it over to the race director and series director. They review it and issue penalties as required. It's very technical, but there's still, of course, that human element in control.
Well, while they're controlling the race there, these two boys are banging doors. 47, and now you see another car shoot down in there.
Three wide in front of Kobayashi.
Todd Gilliland down in there put him 3 wide.
That's three aggressive race car drivers. Stenhouse Jr., Briscoe, Gilliland on the outside, 3 wide going in at 12. I cannot believe all 3 of them come out the other end.
Great battle there from 20th on back to 26th. All in very close contact.
Kobayashi, he's got the same car that these guys up front are driving. So as I would say, as they make more laps today, if he can keep all the fenders on the car and keep it on track and not make any mistakes on pit road, he's probably going to move forward, wouldn't you say, Clint?
Absolutely. See some guys on pit road already, just like we talked about before this stage in, getting set up, need the track position.
Ryan Blaney and Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano on pit road. So is Chris Buescher and Ryan Prix. Briscoe owes a pass-through penalty for cutting the course at turn 4.
Yeah, and you're going to hear us talk about that all day as we get fed that information on the penalties through the S's.
Knock some more out of their lead. You can see them getting a lot bigger in Byron's rearview mirror. That last time by, Byron 213 with a 36. They're 212, 99, and an 88 behind him and Bell. Definitely catching him.
So if you pit before the end of the stage, looking forward to the end of the race and the chance at a race win as Larson and Hamlin battle, do you have to choose between stage points and track position at the finish, or can you do both?
Well, I think you can get a little bit of both. If you're one of these front cars, maybe it'll cycle through to get you a tail end of the top 10, but there's definitely going to be 2 different agendas in the middle of this race. And some of the guys that are going to say, hey, we don't have a chance to win today, let's stay out in one of these 2 stages and try to get some points to protect ourselves from the day of having a bad day. We saw that yesterday in the Xfinity race with Riley Herbst. He stayed out, won a stage, got a playoff point, got 10 points, got good stage points in the first stage, and then wrecked. And that's what you get those stage points for, is to try to protect your finish when you think it might not be good.
Playoff leaderboard in your lower left as Byron and Gibbs run 1.8 seconds apart, with Bell looking in.
I also think it depends on what kind. There you see Reddick dipping down to the pit entry here. Going to be the first one of the front runners on pit road. Josh, what do you got?
The biggest area of concern for the 45 right now is the stadium and the carousel. He said he's just too tight. He's going to get 4 tires and fuel to try and help them out, guys.
Well, as you see Tyler Reddick come into his pit box right here, this is probably the narrowest pit road on the circuit. This is a really tough pit road to navigate when there's a lot of cars coming in and out of the racetrack, and while you're in your pit box, you don't have a lot of room to the right side of the pit box because the pit boxes are so narrow.
Several of them, Allmendinger here, SVG, you see Larson in the pits, Denny Hamlin was in, Kyle Busch.
Yep, too many to call. In fact, it'd be easier to name the drivers who stayed out.
Well, we know our first four cars stayed out on the three of the first four cars stayed out on the racetrack to keep running.
9 drivers stayed out. Truex is back in. The reason he pitted earlier after that contact was that he shattered the rim on a wheel. It wasn't a tire going down, but part of the wheel was gone, so he had to come in early.
Yeah, we see a lot of these cars that are coming onto pit road to get their tires changed. A lot of them have the Goodyears rubbed off the side and tire marks on the rocker panels. Very physical racetrack up at the top of the hill and at the beginning parts of these laps.
Larry Mack?
Yeah, you look about the top 9 or 10, they have not pitted yet. Now, the only way you can still pit is if you're up there like William Byron or Ty Gibbs or Christopher Bell, because pit road will close this time when the leader crosses the start-finish line. Remember what I talked about, creating a 2-stop strategy. There is a way that you can run to about lap 20 to 22, make a pit stop, which will be after stage 1 in, and then pit again 44 to 46, and that's a 2-stop race. That's 3 different segments of this race.
So the first 9 have not pitted. Neither have Hemrick, Keselowski, and Gralla. It appears most everybody else has been to pit road other than Timmy Hill.
Well, and here they come, Mike. 2 of the first 3. Bell stayed out. He's going to go after the points. The other 2 are going to go after the winning strategy, or what they think is the winning strategy to put themselves in the best position to win. Regan?
Ross Chastain, one of those cars going after the winning strategy. Phil Surgeon said at the start of the day this is what he would do if he felt like the car was good enough to do it. Right now he's a little bit too loose through all the right-handers. What's helped through the right-handers, especially the carousel. Jamie?
Ty Gibbs in the 54 had just turned the fastest lap. That last lap said he's a little too tight on the left-handers. A 4-tire stop here. They'll fill him up with Sunoco fuel. Meanwhile, the 24 started on pole at all the laps until now. No adjustments for him. Fresh tires is all.
So they all pitted coming to 2 laps to go. So a legal stop as the pit road would close.
Oh, man. Big lockup from Ty Gibbs out of the pits on cold tires right there. It's really rough on the inside of the racetrack right there, Clint. And I think he went in there too far, and as he came over one of those bumps, the front tires locked up.
Yeah, that was massive. Definitely caught him off guard.
So Christopher Bell out on cruise control, 17 seconds ahead of Daniel Suarez as we come to the end of stage number 1. And Larry's outlined the varying strategies drivers can employ. I guess if you're Joe Gibbs Racing, you've got 4 good contending cars. Put them on different strategies and let's see what happens.
Well, Christopher Bell's already won, right? So
yes.
he can now the rich get richer. Yeah. So he's already won. Now he can take he's going to get a playoff point to add to that playoff total, and he's going to get 10 points today to work towards the regular season championship. So I know Clinton says points don't matter, but they do in a lot of different ways.
Everybody's got a different agenda. Now you've got Daniel Suarez. He stayed out. McDowell stayed out. Cindric. Dillon, you know Dillon needs points. He's going to stay out and get those stage points. Lots of different agendas are available and on the table for a road course race.
Add Stenhouse to that group. Now the drivers that stayed out that are probably not going to score stage points, Hemrick, Keselowski, and Gralla. They're going to be just out of the top 10 as we come toward the end of stage 1.
Well, the good part about this is we're going to get to watch Christopher Bell come through the pack. So that is going to be exciting because he has a race-winning car, and a lot of times you just have to choose one of these stages to say, okay, I'm going to go after points in this stage or the next stage. So some of these guys, including Christopher Bell, as you see him go through turn 1, have chosen to try to win this stage, and the other guys have pitted and said, okay, we'll take our chances for the end or the next stage.
Built his career on dirt and in open wheel cars. A lot of open wheel experience and trophies, but he's a 2-time road course winner in the NASCAR Cup Series. Jamie.
Well, part of his strategy is because he loves loves his car so much. He said, it's driving great. I don't need any adjustments. They said, we're in position. Let's just stay out and go for this stage win. He also reported that he lost fuel pressure, and they reported to him, hey, that happens here. No concern. Have you guys heard of that on the road courses, Clint and Kevin?
Well, usually when I'm out of gas. Definitely been on that side of the fence as well. Not a good feeling.
Well, Christopher Bell, he's been fast every week. For the most part, we saw him have a little bit of trouble at Las Vegas, but these Gibbs cars have been lights out. And now today they've given themselves a chance on different strategy to take the stage points, put themselves in position to have a chance to win. And so 2 different strategies from the Gibbs team.
One element that I heard Jamie say is Ty Gibbs ran his fastest lap right there at the end of this cycle on tires. That tells you that the tire fall off is not there. That's not in existence. That puts strategy into the game in a big way today. It can really shake up the outcome of this race. An untimely caution will lay it right in your lap or take it from somebody else.
So Bell will come around to get the green and white checkered flag to end stage number 1. NASCAR will keep the track under the green flag until the 10th place car comes to the line. Currently, that's Ross Chastain, 42 seconds back of the race leader because of their stops.
Save fuel.
Green checker for Christopher Bell. Second stage win this year for Bell, and his first ever at Circuit of the Americas. Suarez, McDowell, Cindric, and Dillon will give you the top 10 and the stage point earners when we come back. Christopher Bell is your stage 1 winner.
We've come a long way together. From dirt tracks to super speedways and every track in between. Never backing down, pushing boundaries, and giving it everything we've got. Yeah, we've come a long way, but there's still a lot more road to run. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR.
NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Credit One Bank and by Ford. Built Ford proud. Aerial coverage at Circuit of the Americas is provided by Goodyear, powering the race from green to checkered flag and every mile in between. Goodyear, more driven. Top of your screen, you see the stage point winners in positions 1 through 10. Bell with his second stage win of the year. Suarez, McDowell, Dillon, Stenhouse, all of whom stayed out. Byron, Gibbs, Reddick, Chastain, all of whom pitted. And Daniel Hemrick, who stayed out, has not pitted. He got the final stage point. Jamie?
Well, Mike, in 2023, 2311 took their pit department in-house, no longer using Joe Gibbs Racing. Now in their second year together, Tyler Reddick's team is really hitting their stride. So let's meet Team 45.
Houston Stamper, front tire changer, former college wide receiver. Just started my 19th season. My best victories are my kids at home and my wife.
Devin Del Rico, rear tire changer, up in Marlboro, Maryland. 2-time Xfinity Series champion.
Wade Moore, Cleveland, North Carolina, tire carrier, former player in the Washington Nationals organization, proud dad to Sawyer, Sturgill, and Jackson.
Nathan Ricketts, Jackman, Holland, Michigan, Central Michigan linebacker.
Brian Deal, gas man, former soccer player, 2017 NASCAR Cup Series champion with Furniture Row Racing and Martin Truex Jr., proud dad to Gage and Quinn.
Quite varied backgrounds, and there's Billy Scott, the crew chief, for 2311, 4 career victories, and he's been crew chief for Reddick since 2023. Let's have a look at their pit stop earlier, as Reddick was the first of the leaders to pit.
Yeah, and I think that the great part about all those graphics and information is just how important these guys that are changing these tires and putting the fuel in and calling the shots up on the pit box, there's so much more to it than just the car and the driver. We see Austin Cindric in the pits here. He had some pretty heavy damage on the nose, so they know that they've got some time on this particular lap to work on their car. Bubba Wallace, the same thing. We talked about the toe in the front of the car being knocked out. They're trying to get those front tires straightened back up.
All right, 17 laps complete. We're at the end of stage 1, getting ready to start stage 2 with the all-new Toyota Camry XSE leading the field. And the Toyota of Christopher Bell in front. Now, the front 5 cars have not yet made a stop. Will they come in during the stage break? Will they wait until we get going in stage 2?
Well, if these guys sitting on the box with their tires ready and everything else are an indication, I'd say all systems say yes. All systems go. They'll be coming. Task, that was exactly what the doctor ordered for an Austin Dillon, McDowell, Suarez. Those guys were looking for stage points. They got it. Maybe not Suarez. You know, Suarez has got to win in the bank. You got to remember that, too.
Well, a guy like Austin Cindric is, you know, he got his stage points and immediately pitted. They knew they were in big trouble, and they might not get anything else out of their day because of the damage that they have on the front of their car.
And Michael McDowell probably looking for track position. Here's a veteran road racer, very aggressive driver. Didn't have a great qualifying effort. Flipped him up to the top 5 here to complete stage 1. And we'll see what kind of strategies employed when pit road opens.
Well, the day's getting better. We started 27th. Did you see there? 3rd in the stage, running 3rd. Much better. 24 cars they passed there. Did 11 of it under green.
Wow, listen to said Allmendinger saving gas under caution.
Yeah, and you always want to save gas, because anytime you can have less time for the fueler plugged in to put gas in that car, the better off you are.
And here come some of them. Suarez and Dillon are in. Well, let's crank it up for these pit stops.
I drink. It's pretty good.
Everyone is now pitted, but stage winner Christopher Bell and Michael McDowell.
Buzz baits, bobbers, bait casters, and boat weights. Rod bending, drag screaming, trophy dreaming. The fishtails that lure you to go and the stories you'll tell after. If that sounds like where you want to be, then check out Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's Spring Fishing Classic for the biggest fishing and boating sale of the year. Save up to an additional $5,000 on the world's leading boat brands during the model year clearance event. Plus, receive a free gift card up to $2,000 with purchase. Your adventure starts here.
Getting ready to start stage 2, Christopher Bell and Michael McDowell, who did not pit, are on the front row for this restart. Now, in days past, if you ran low on fuel pressure, there's a switch you could flip and then get yourself to pits for gas. That switch is no longer an option for these drivers, and it's a long way around should you run out. However, I'm sure the teams have it figured well, and we'll get updates on the 2 leaders after this restart. Here they come. White line, start of the restart zone, and Bell is on it. McDowell right with them. And how will they fan out as they come to the top of the hill?
Here they come. Dive Bomb City. Look, Byron, looking to the inside. So far, so good for Christopher Bell and McDowell holding steady on those old tires.
Well, we didn't see a lot of fall-off with those tires, so I'm sure that gave their crew chiefs a little bit of some confidence to say, hey, let's just stay out. And I would guess that the biggest worry that they had was going to be turn 1 and how those things fired off.
Bell, Byron, McDowell, Reddick, Kyle Busch making a run at Chastain. Chastain right up behind Gibbs. There they are side by side right behind those 2 Chevys for 6th.
See more dirt chunking out of that turn 8, Kevin.
Yeah, it's going to continue to chunk all day, and the longer that you go, the bigger that ditch will get on the inside of there, and then it'll just start dragging the floor pan.
Well, let's get an update on Christopher Bell, Michael McDowell. Let's start with Regan.
Michael McDowell obviously staying out right there, going to try and do what he can on these older tires right now. Crew Chief Travis Peterson scratching his head a little bit earlier today on what strategy he wanted to employ, but as they got the track position, that made it easier for him to stay out. He did tell his driver that they would stay out until lap 21. They want to come in on 21 to play it a little conservative, make sure they don't run out. Jamie?
And an update on Christopher Bell, our leader. I just asked Adam Stevens about the fuel switch, and all teams do something different, but Adam said we do have a fuel pressure switch. We had to hit it already because we had that pickup problem earlier. Now, as far as the tires go, you guys were spot on. His tire wear was good. Christopher was a little nervous about the idea of staying out, but he said, I don't want to get spun, but I think we're good enough to stay ahead of him.
Well, it's an interesting scenario for the 20 and the 34, and as a driver, as a scenario I never liked when I'm in Michael McDowell's position right here, and you're just looking backwards, getting run over and off sequence with all the guys that are on fresh tires.
Larry Mack.
All right, let's follow up on what Regan was saying. He's talking about Travis Peterson, the 34 car, and Michael McDowell. They want to come at lap 21. That means there'll be 47 laps to go in the race. That says they're going to have to run 23 laps one run and 24 laps another to make it to lap 68. But remember, we do know we're going to have 2 or 3 caution laps at the end of stage 2, which will buy them some.
As you can see here coming through the S's, the problem with McDowell versus Bell, Bell kept the track position. Bell's still leading. You see right there, clear back here, already in 9th place, losing a lot of track position early. That's what you can't afford to do if you're gambling like this.
Well, and Michael McDowell's car was probably a 10th to 15th place car before he pitted, and so it just makes it tough. And when you're the leader, you obviously have the cleanest air and able to get the best amount of lap time and most performance out of your car aerodynamically to make it turn as good as possible. But we see William Byron right on the back bumper of Christopher Bell.
I'm impressed with Bell's race car, though. To be able to hold these guys off for even one corner, you know, regardless of a lap or so, that's impressive. This car's fast, and it tells you that there isn't a whole lot of fall off whatsoever in these tires.
Byron and Bell top the list for Xfinity fastest lap.
Well, this will be, as you see William Byron go to the inside of Christopher Bell, and I was getting ready to say this will be the toughest section for Christopher Bell to kind of manage those back tires and the wheel spin compared to those new tires of William Byron and the guys behind him.
So everyone has made one pit stop except Christopher Bell in the 20 and Michael McDowell's 34.
That's one thing I love about.
Bubba spun.
More problems for Bubba. Man, every time we come here for Bubba, and all of his trouble happened early too. I remember, well, we saw past it Kyle Larson. Yep. Even last year, he got underneath Kyle Larson, spun underneath of him, ruined his day last year. Same thing. First lap today, right back in the hole.
Apparently there was contact between Brad Keselowski and Bubba Wallace. Here's a look.
Oh, you see Brad locking it up. Knew he was in trouble. Got in the left rear of Bubba. Round it went.
Yeah, and you saw Bubba have to check up a little bit. And in that stadium section where they were, you can take a really wide arc, but it opens you up to get T-boned like that from where Brad's angle was coming from.
Keselowski continues in 34th. Wallace in 39th. Everybody's still on the lead lap as we're into stage 2. William Byron out in front of Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell. Next weekend, pro football is back on Fox. The UFL kicks off on Saturday with USFL champ Birmingham taking on XFL champ Arlington. Then kickoff weekend continues Sunday on ESPN. The United Football League. 21 complete here at Circuit of the Americas. William Byron leading Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, Ross Chastain, and Christopher Bell, but Kyle Larson has spun.
Well, it was off the front bumper of Christopher Bell, but it looks to me like Kyle missed a little bit, slipped up, locked the brakes up, whatever, got a little bit high, tried to hold it down. Bell was there, got into the back of him and spun him out.
He was definitely up out of the groove, wasn't down on the bottom.
Michael McDowell on pit road, making his first stop of the day. Regan?
Michael McDowell and his team deciding last second to run one extra lap on that session there, going to lap 22. Needs more turn in the low-speed corners, and the steering wheel has some slop to it. That is really a pain when you're a driver.
So Christopher Bell is the only car on track who has not made a pit stop today. He's in fifth, 6 seconds back.
Well, he's probably going to have to come this time by to pit. Going to be the next couple laps.
Larry.
Yeah, I think he'll come this time. This gives them the insurance, guys, because if he comes at lap 23, that means he has to make one more run of 23 laps, then he could go 22 to the end. So this kind of gives them insurance. They know they can go at least 23 laps.
And I'm hearing right now, just checked with the team, Larry, it's going to be lap 24. Pit crew slowly putting on their helmets and getting ready, waiting for the 20 to come down.
Then he don't have to go 22 laps a run. 24, 22, 22.
Third place, Ross Chastain. Ty Gibbs battling it out here. And Gibbs takes the spot for now.
Yeah, and this is that differing lines right there. Ross really wide through the stadium, and Ty Gibbs really tight on the bottom of the corner right there. Through 15. Now they're going through 16, 17, and 18. We call it the carousel. Into 19, run over the whole curb. More curb you hit, the better the car turns. Less of that outside asphalt you have to use. Split the whole curb right here to get as wide as possible to turn in. Use that paint on exit. It's grippy. As you go up this hill right here, you see those dark marks on the racetrack, and those are all bumps. There's a tunnel that goes under the racetrack right there, and you see the swells in the racetrack, and the cars bounce, and you go over those first couple bumps, you see all the skid marks from the restarts, but
I'm calling that first one a jump right back over here. That thing is a big time.
Yeah, and the farther you go to the left on the screen, the bumpier it is. So it's a crazy corner because you can brake into that hill, but you can only brake so hard. You have to modulate the brake pressure over those bumps up the hill.
And I think that's what makes that dive bomb so dangerous there. As they fan out on those restarts in particular, the farther to the inside they go, the bumpier it is, like you're saying. And I think the proof is there. You can see it in the tire marks where everybody's locked it up over time.
And right here, you saw A.J. Allmendinger go through turn 8. He hit that access road, got the car jacked up, and it hurt him all the way down to turn 11.
AJ, so much fun to watch on these road courses. Always right there. Always getting the most out of these race cars. Attacks these racetracks. It's so fun to watch.
Allmendinger in 7th. Running 7.6 seconds off the lead, held by William Byron. With 23 laps complete, we'll take you, Fox. A little dirty side-by-side here.
So I didn't think I needed Swiffer until I saw how easily it picked up my hair every time I dried it. It only takes a minute. Look at that. The heavy-duty cloths are extra thick for amazing trap and lock, even for his hair. Wow. And for dust, I love my heavy-duty duster. The fluffy fibers trap dust on contact. Up high and all around without having to lift a thing. I'm so hooked. You'll love Swiffer or your money back.
Did you see that? Hear that?
feel that? Is this how you prove you earn the crown?
Winning is in his DNA.
How you shut up the haters?
I love it.
Handle the heat?
Who's going to make the move?
It's
going to be a must-win.
Is this a shooting star? Rock star? Superstar? Okay. Let's all take a deep breath. Because once we peel out, there's no looking back. You ready?
The 3 for Me only at Chili's serves up more deliciousness for just $10.99 than you'll find anywhere else. I mean, have y'all seen those fast food prices lately? It's like even they want you to come to Chili's. This Chili's 3 for Me is the best $10.99 you can eat.
All the parts you need at the prices you want. Guaranteed to fit every time. So you can keep your ride or die alive.
Doug.
Hello, Ghostbusters. It's Doug of Doug and Limu. We help people customize and save hundreds on car insurance with Liberty Mutual. Anyway, we got a bit of a situation here. Sure, I can hold it. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire in theaters now.
Exclusively on Fox Nation.
They were as unlikable a pair of defendants as you'll ever see.
All part of Fox Justice. Sign up now and get your first year of Fox Nation for $29.99.
The XFL and the United States Football League have announced plans to merge.
Let's ball out, baby!
This will bring together two of the best spring leagues we've ever seen.
The United Football League has arrived.
Here we go.
This is the make or break moment. The chance to carve your name into the history books. This is the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
24 laps complete at Circuit of the Americas, Austin, Texas. William Byron leading Tyler Reddick by 2 seconds.
Look at them babies.
And Ty Gibbs by 4. Ross Chastain 4.5. A.J. Allmendinger 8 seconds back, now up into the top 5. Noah Gragson has pitted, so has Corey LaJoie. That puts them on a 2-stop strategy. The 99 pitted of Daniel Suarez did not pit. He'll get a pass-through penalty for violating track limits as Van Gisbergen pits.
Yeah, we saw Van Gisbergen racing around Chase Elliott in some of the same cars and probably figured if we can beat him to pit road and run a lap or 2 extra, we might be able to gain some track position if we can run some faster laps. Close call right there with Austin Cindric.
Well, let me go back to Suarez. He was too fast entering the pit. Speeding on pit road is the penalty. So he'll have to do a drive-through at pit road speed. And serves that penalty now.
I am so impressed with William Byron laying the lap times down on this racetrack. Has dominated this race so far. This boy just continues to impress in that 24 car.
And he puts the work in. I was at the go-kart track on Wednesday, and when I got there, William Byron was just finishing up in his go-kart.
Whoa!
Oh!
Kobayashi and Stenhouse.
Well, we got quite the kerfuffle right there.
Quite the what? What'd you say?
Kerfuffle.
That's a Ken Squire term. That must go back, I don't know, 30, 40 years.
Well, it's my word of the week, so.
Well, all right.
There you go.
Well, here's another one. Van Gisbergen speeding on pit road.
Oh, no.
Minimizing mistakes. You told us that at the beginning of the show.
Bowman working his way toward the front here. Restarted 12th, now up to 6th place.
Bowman's coming.
Yep.
Very good here, solid average finishes here. Been in the top 10 all 3 races, and he's not done with him yet.
Well, I've heard of the 3-tap rule, but that was
got him back.
That was kind of the bump and dump right there.
Jeff Gordon did that exact same thing to me at Martinsville one time. I moved him up out of the way and spun him out, and he floored it. I heard him gas it up and hit me, spun me in the wrong direction.
Well, this is turn 8. All that dirt it looked like Stenhouse was trying to knock him out of the groove and put him in the dirt right there, and wound up getting him into the left rear tire of his own car.
So Kobayashi, who's won the Rolex 24 Hours and 24 Hour of Le Mans and raced in Formula One, comes to pit road. William Byron, not only is he the pole winningest active driver in the Cup Series, the all-time pole winner on road courses, this pole winner on road courses, Darrell Waltrip with 9. 5 for Byron now. Has a driver coach, Max Pappas. And Pappas had a great career in IndyCar, in endurance racing, sports car racing. Now makes the steering wheels for a lot of these drivers, but he is Byron's driver coach, and so I would imagine he'd be really good on road courses.
Yeah, and that's who William was at the kart track with, and Max and William have had a great relationship through the years. And you know, there's several of these young men that just have great work ethic. William has a great family and support system to go along with Max, with his parents, and just a great story coming from iRacing to do all the things that he's been so successful with in the Cup Series.
Kyle Busch got up to Bowman's bumper there, a corner or two back. That's pretty busy battle right there from 6th place on back. Bowman, Busch, Elliott, Hamlin.
Well, we talked earlier, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, all those guys needed to have a good run today.
Tyler Reddick pitting from 2nd place. Josh.
Strong start to the race for Tyler Reddick. He continues to need a little help in the carousel and the stadium section. They made an air pressure adjustment last time, 4 tires, and fuel this time. Regan?
AJ Allmendinger having a very good run today so far. Needed more rear grip without hurting the front turn earlier. The last adjustment was not good, though. He said it was worse this run than the previous run.
Look at the big list of drivers who just pitted, including most all of that 6th place battle. Back to Haley, who was the highest running Ford in the race in 10th.
See Tyler Reddick come out of the pits, and as you watch all these cars, there's a huge bump that we talked about it right there. See all the front ends just jump up in the air. Chase Elliott decided he was going to need to go underneath Carson Hocevar as quick as he could to get the track position and lose as little time. Forces him wide.
Well, that was experience on Chase Elliott's behalf. Hocevar wasn't really paying attention. How about Bell? I'll get you both right here. Thank you very much. Good move.
Well, of course, Christopher Bell was not coming out of the pits. His tires are up to temperature. He's up to rhythm and moves on past that group.
As those guys were getting it sorted out, he pounced on them.
Byron now 4 seconds up on Ty Gibbs, make it 5. Gibbs and Chastain, and then a big gap back to Denny Hamlin.
As we run here, Mike, this race just keeps gaining more interest to me as we have differing pit strategies that are going to start to merge as we get to the end of this 2nd stage and into the middle of the last section of this race.
Well, I think that's where it's really going to merge is in that last section of the race, like you spoke of. One caution untimely, one caution that comes out, and it's going to separate this thing and hand it to some people, and not so good for the others.
Here's William Byron to pit road. Regan.
Well, Ross Chastain, you see him peel off in the back there, pitting from 3rd place. Right now, he's still too loose. Early in the race, too loose, especially through the right-handers. That is continuing. It was only minorly better. He needs a bigger adjustment. Jamie?
Ty Gibbs got his first career road course win in the Xfinity Series, hoping to do it in the Cup Series here today. What's a little bit of an adjustment, a little too loose to the right-handers, but the car is bad fast. You see he has clear vision. They got that tear up and 4 tires for the 54.
That'll move Denny Hamlin to the front.
Like Denny Hamlin staying out on the racetrack, they originally planned to pit, but when they noticed everybody else peeling off in front of them, they felt like they wanted to take the points, especially if they could get that playoff point at the end of the stage.
Well, that's the call you got to make at the end of these stages, and those points, as we've talked many, many times, can be very, very valuable as you go through the playoffs into the end of the regular season. Sometimes it might come down to 1 point, and you have to take those points when you can get them.
And no risk for Hamlin. He has a win, so.
And I want to add one more layer to that. I think they already know what bed they're lying in. In other words, I don't think they think that they could go up and pass that leader and contend for a win without some help here. That help can come in the form of strategy later on in the race. Give luck a chance to operate. In the meantime, let's go get some stage points, take care of business in the playoffs.
Well, he's going to have to go because the car behind him, Ryan Blaney, is a fair amount faster than he is. Ryan Blaney, last year's Cup Series champion, and he's really been the one flying the banner for Ford this year. We see it again today with the speed in their cars is not there compared to the Chevys and the Toyotas. So they definitely have some work to do, but Ryan Blaney has made the most out of it. Larry?
Yeah, I've been watching Christopher Bell in this 20. If you notice, he's sitting back in 20th right now, and I think we know what his strategy is, a two-stop strategy. But he's well behind a lot of cars that just made their trip to pit road. Their pit stop was 19.65. They kept that car jacked up on the left side for about 4 or 5 additional seconds, making sure they got that thing completely full of fuel.
Bell in 20th. 30 seconds behind race leader Denny Hamlin, but of course on very, very different strategies. Here's Chase Briscoe, the Mahindra Tractors cam. Might need one of those to do some repair out in turn 8 before this race is done, as he's right up there against Joey Logano.
Yeah, you see them out in the paint as they run through the day. Those exit paint sections will get grippier and grippier. Now they're going to go up into turn 1. You're going to see Joey Logano go to the left of the bumps. Chase Briscoe goes straight through them. That's a good strategy for Logano. If your car is bouncing all over the place, bottoming out, locking up tires, just go around those bumps into turn 1. That's what I had to do last year in my car, many laps. And you see Joey Logano choosing that strategy to just go around those bumps.
Final lap, stage 2, Hamlin, Blaney, and Martin Truex, who earlier had to stop because of contact with 2 other cars and a shattered wheel rim. Truex back up in it. Here for third, along with Todd Gilliland and Ryan Prix, as we come toward the end of stage 2. Limping around the track is Michael McDowell, something broken in the steering on his car.
Lot of opportunities to damage that steering with all the curb jumping and everything that happens to the vehicle. Very tough on it at this particular racetrack.
Well, we already heard one car change the right companion and go to the rear. Maybe
look at him. I mean, he's
out of power steering. I'd say lost fluid or something. No power steering at all.
See the hitch there? It's like the steering's in and out, like the power steering's coming in and out on him.
Look at the difference that it makes.
He can barely steer.
Barely turn the wheel.
Around turn 20, back to the start-finish line. Denny Hamlin, your stage 2 winner, half a second up on Ryan Blaney and 1.7 ahead of Martin Truex. First stage win of the year for Hamlin, and his second at Circuit of the Americas.
I know who you are. Elwood Dalton. Big fan, man.
What brings you to Glass Key?
I'm here to work at a roadhouse. Be nice.
Dalton!
Roadhouse, rated R, now streaming on Prime Video.
Ego, Milwaukee, Steel, all the top-rated brands, all run on their own single battery system. You can't find all these brands at a warehouse store. They're at your neighborhood Ace.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Here at Papa John's, we know our stuff. So try our Garlic Epic Stuffed Crust Pizza, made with our iconic garlic sauce flavor.
mixed with cheese and hand stuffed into that Papa John's original dough. No one stuffs a crust like Papa John's.
NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights on FS1.
Tailgate Kings, man, in full effect here this weekend in Texas. This week, we focus on the key ingredient that makes any setup better, good barbecue. My, oh my, they actually have a barbecue competition right here at Coda Speedway. I held in on that. These guys mean business. Look at that. You never
of course you held in on that.
Never trust a skinny cook. Those guys were on point. Awesome barbecue.
That's what we need. We need the machine to break right about there with you in it.
See, I tried to get you to do this with me yesterday, and you
left.
Denied. No.
You left the facility.
Actually, I had to wait on you to do an interview so I could do mine. It was the first time this year that I've had to wait on you. I know you wait on me a lot.
Here's the stage finish. Hamlin, Blaney, Truex, Gilliland, Prix with stage points in 5th. Keselowski, Nemechek overcoming a penalty. Byron, the only driver who stopped at lap 28 to earn any stage points in stage 2. Hemrick and Josh Berry, the top 10. Fox Saturday Baseball returns with a star-studded showdown. Aaron Judge and Juan Soto lead the Yankees against Jose Altuve and the Astros. Or you'll see the Giants take on the Padres. It all starts Saturday, 7 Eastern. Check for the game in your area. 39 drivers started here. They are still all on the lead lap. Michael McDowell with steering issues brings his car to pit road.
Yeah, this might be the last time we see this camera today, or it'll stay on until Michael gets wore out. Unless they find something wrong. Hear him shut
Kevin,
the car
this
off.
is the first time I've ever experienced this. We get a bird's eye view. He is literally right below us. Hood's coming up on this car.
Oh, you've witnessed it. I've seen a picture of you after a race at the Roval, sitting beside your car that wore you out like this.
You know the last car I passed that day for a 10th place finish?
I set you up good on that one.
You.
Go ahead. So you're saying that you beat me with no power steering?
Well, you've beat me without being able to see.
Beat you blind.
So yeah, guess we're even. Larry, what can you do here? Obviously a leak, loose fitting.
I mean, that's the first thing they got to do, Clint, is determine exactly what it is. Has it run out of fluid? Does it have a leak? Does it have a line issue? You know, obviously we've had just the rack and pinion itself, the rack itself going bad.
You can see just how busy these cars are under the hood from that shot that we just had, and how hard it is to visibly see any kind of problem. They've pulled the air cleaner off of that car so they can get down to the rack and actually see what the problem at hand is. There it comes off. Now more of the air box coming off.
And since there are no track limits here except in the S's, with all of the alligator teeth on the curbings and all of the bouncing around, the steering probably takes a bigger beating here than anywhere we go.
I would agree with you on that, Mike. And you know, we talk about the bumps up into turn 1 and all the jumping around that it does right there. But when you go through turn 7, turn 10, and you literally just square the car up and jump it straight over the curb, all 4 tires almost probably off the ground, and when it lands, it compresses and it slams into the rub block. So
then you get around to that rut in 8, big rut, 4 or 5 inches deep.
Yeah,
he is wore out already. No. Get some more water. You're going to need it.
You need more than water.
That's a terrible feeling. I've been there, Michael. Terrible feeling.
31 laps complete. Denny Hamlin leading for Toyota, and under caution, the Toyota Camry XSE leads the field here at Circuit of the Americas. Here's your progressive race summary. After 2 of 3 stages, Denny Hamlin, your leader. William Byron and Christopher Bell have also, Denny Hamlin, have led today. 3 lead changes, and all 39 cars still on the lead lap.
Well, we talked about it so much today. We see several guys at the back part of this field that have had contact with the other cars. They've had speeding penalties. They've had all kinds of things happen. We've seen several a couple get penalties through the S's, and here we are again getting ready to come down pit road, and no mistakes. Don't speed. Take care of your pit equipment. Get the car in the box. Don't hit anybody on the way out. There's so many opportunities to have something go wrong with your race right here while you enter pit road.
Now the final stage twice as long as the first two stages, so this will not be the final pit stop of the day. But here they come, led by Hamlin. Regan.
Denny Hamlin told that he will have to go around the 34, as you see it right there, to get into his pit box. He's loose entering turns 2 and 16. Those are the areas he needs the most help with. Very, very decisive on what, or very, very descriptive on what he needed through those sections. The 12 car Ryan Blaney, no rear stability in the braking zone. Josh?
Tough start to the race for Martin Truex Jr. after shattering that wheel rib. Right now, complaining that car is just way too loose. Make an adjustment to help him out for the 38 of Todd Gilliland. He said he's struggling through the S's. Otherwise, he's happy with that car right now.
Boy, when Truex whipped out of his pit stall, he almost got into Brad Keselowski, who was coming in as Truex was exiting. Denny Hamlin, stage 2 winner. Two stages in the books. William Byron, the only driver to score stage points in both. We are ready for stage 3. And they'll run to lap 68. See the checkered flag. One more pit stop in the offing.
Well, it's been pretty smooth sailing so far, but it isn't going to be long.
Here we go.
William Byron chose the inside, so did Ty Gibbs. That puts Ross Chastain outside for the restart as they fan out and climb the hill. 134 feet vertical rise to turn 1.
See the 24
he got into
her,
yes. Haley way to the inside, made it 4 wide. And Chastain with the lead.
Ty Gibbs pushed Byron, pushed him into a mistake, is what I'm trying to say. Got into the corner too deep, shot up the racetrack with a wheel lock up. Rest is history. Chastain to the point.
Well, now we're going to see what William Byron's car has. Because he has not been in traffic all day. So now he's going to have to figure out how to get back by these two guys, or is it going to slow him down as much as it has everybody else as Tyler Reddick tries to go on the inside of William Byron in turn 9.
Down to the hairpin. Reddick to the inside, looking for one.
Had that wheel lock up. That was dangerous. About wiped out his own teammate.
Well, that's the part that we've been talking about Tyler Reddick since last year and the year before, is how good he's been in the braking zones. I think he's going to. Oh, Ryan Prix is around.
Had a big slide there and gets back underway. Prix was 31st.
Byron underneath Reddick for 3rd.
Yeah, and William Byron does not want him to get around and have to worry about getting around another car. Doing all he can to keep him back there.
Still a lot of side-by-side 15th on back. Things have sort of settled down up front and into a procession, but look at this swarm. It's Carson Hocevar, who was battling with Briscoe side-by-side.
That was an awesome crossover by SVG.
Yeah, we saw some great passes yesterday. One of the best passes I've seen in a NASCAR race that SVG put on Ty Gibbs yesterday in turn 1.
It was a crossover, much like you just saw right there underneath St. Smith.
Yeah, speaking of Ty Gibbs, he's all over the back bumper of Ross Chastain.
He's getting a lot of pressure from William Byron behind him as well.
Well, Ross Chastain has that track position, and we know Ross has obviously won here for Trackhouse and has run good here every year, and he does not want to lose that track position that he now has.
All right, Daniel Hemrick has pitted with damage to the front of his car. Josh Berry also on pit road. They were back in that scrum at the back of the field. Kerfuffle, did you say?
Kerfuffle.
That's what it was.
Yeah, they were part of that equation with Ryan Prix.
You can say it. Go ahead.
Love watching these guys set up passes. They ride where they need to ride, and then all of a sudden start applying pressure and getting in position when it counts. And he's passing corners down here in 11 and 12.
WeatherTech Cam on board Van Gisbergen as he battles Hocevar.
See him stacked up behind Ross Chastain. I think Ty Gibbs is probably a little bit faster than Ross, but Ross putting the car where he needs to put it to get a good drive up off the corner. Hasn't made any mistakes yet.
So who's the hardest guy in the Cup Series to pass? Well, we polled several drivers. Speaking of, Ross Chastain.
Hardest driver to pass. I'd say Ross Chastain. He's really good at mirror driving. I'd say Ross does a pretty good job.
I'm going to have to give this award to Ross Chastain lately.
Ross has proven to be really, really tactful when it comes to racing for position.
Ross Chastain. I think that the hardest driver to pass is the one car.
He agrees.
Yeah, we see Michael McDowell just getting out of the way of the whole field. He's got his hands full with the steering problems that he has.
Here it comes. Dive bomb to the inside. Ty Gibbs on Ross Chastain. He's going to make this pass. Not so much, not so fast.
Well, here's where it gets tricky as you go down through turn 2. See Ross
pushed him back out.
Yeah. And it would have got even harder if they'd have been side by side headed into 3 with the angles that see William Byron really close to cutting the limits right there. But that's where it gets hard coming through the S's. If you're side by side into 3, it just throws your angle off for 4, 5, and 6. And
well, Ty Gibbs certainly dove to the inside of 1.
In the dirt.
Look at the dirt. Slipping and sliding around. Now it hands the opportunity to William Byron to pounce here, getting into 11.
35 down, 33 laps to go. Ross Chastain holding on to a narrow lead against Ty Gibbs and William Byron. Welcome back to the EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix on Fox, where Ross Chastain's the leader and William Byron has used the run-up to turn 1 to make the pass on Ty Gibbs for second. Gibbs now in the clutches of Alex Bowman to hold on to the 3rd spot. So let's have a look at today's Credit One Bank ones to watch. Clint, who you got an eye on?
I've got this guy, number 48, Alex Bowman. Started 17th, up to 4th. Marches on and definitely in the right direction.
I'm keeping my eye on Christopher Bell because he has a little bit different pit strategy, had some trouble on pit road, but has a really fast car working his way back forward.
Well, there's still 1 pit stop to go, but who's the hardest guy on the track to pass? Ross Chastain. Everybody knows it, including Ross. Is Ross the boss? We'll see how this plays out. Those are your Credit One Bank ones to watch. With 31 laps to go at Circuit of the Americas. And Chastain holding a 1.5 second lead. Earlier this morning, we listened in on the Trackhouse team meeting for car number 1.
All right, fellas. Today we got stages at 15, 30, 68. We got 5 sets of tires to play with. I don't expect us to use them all. We got that set of scuffs. We'll have them prepped and ready.
You know, like I always say, the world needs doctors and lawyers, but it also needs savages, boys.
Phil Surgeon and crew. All right, Chastain up by between 1 and 1.5 seconds. It varies depending on whether the car ahead or behind is on the straightaway or going through one of the corners. But right now, that passes for what would be a commanding lead.
He's still laying some good lap times down, even with Byron getting in at 2nd place. He still put 2 tenths on him.
Well, I think that track position for Ross Chastain has really
woke that car up, right?
Well, it's woke it up, and it's allowed us to see the speed that it has in it, and I think they're going to recognize that for sure and want to keep that track position because they know they have a car to keep up.
Front 4 pretty close in contact. Another second back to Kyle Busch in 5th spot. We listened into some strategy there.
You know, about a 24-lap run to the end of the race, which would be longer than we've always run on a weekend. So, yeah, I think you'd want to have as fresh stuff as you could, but you're going to lose time, so I get it. Yeah, you're going to lose time and you're going to run the risk of catching an untimely caution.
Well, so far today, we have not had a caution for cause.
Oh, man.
Only the 2 stage breaks.
That's going to be big trouble for Chase Elliott. It looked like he went all the way off the racetrack right there. He got in trouble in turn 3, and in turn 4, he had to shoot all the way to the right. And the reason I bring that up is through the S's, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are where you get penalties.
Well, here's the penalty. Watch the number 9.
Yeah, the car bounced right there wrong, and he had to correct it to keep it going straight and just wound up way to the inside in turn 4.
I mean, it happened that fast, too.
We saw the car right behind him, Kyle Busch, do that in qualifying, and it looked like the back tires came about 6 or 8 inches up off the ground, and that's exactly what happened to Chase Elliott right there as well.
Running 5th, huge setback for the 9 car.
Yeah, Elliott will have to make a drive down pit road at pit road speed while the rest of the field races on. Behind him is Kyle Busch, then Tyler Reddick, then Christopher Bell, then Chris Buescher, who's the leading Ford in the race. The highest that the 17 has been all day. Restarted 8th and is now in 9th. So in contention for a top 10 there, just in front of A.J. Allmendinger.
We see those 2 line choices. Chris Buescher up the racetrack, a little more arc. AJ kind of straight into turn 15.
Really shows you how that door can open up if you're willing to take it.
Yeah, you make yourself very vulnerable in traffic when you go up that far.
Behind Allmendinger, that's Justin Haley coming into the picture.
And this is another week that we talk about Justin Haley doing a good job. One of my I call him a kid. He's one of my favorites on the circuit. Just a good, down-to-earth human. And every so often he just shows up, whether it's in this car or a different car. He's done it year after year.
It's usually when the challenge is the steepest is when Justin Haley shines the brightest.
Now those 11 cars back to Haley have 3 seconds on the rest of the field. Briscoe, Truex, Van Gisbergen, Logano, and the rest. 28 laps to go at Circuit of the Americas. Ross Chastain out front as we take you Fox side by side.
Here's one thing we can all agree on. Having more choices beats having less choices. That's why we make a range of Ford F-150 pickups for any job. Whether that job is getting heavy things where they need to go, powering things on the go, or going from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills.
Hello?
Should you become stranded, be ready to signal rescuers. Bush.
How long have I been out here?
About 12 minutes. Head for the mountains.
At the Cracker Barrel, freshly made food at a fair price is just what we do. In fact, we've got over 20 meals under $12, each served with a helping of care. Eat, shop, earn Cracker Barrel rewards.
It's the fastest, most unpredictable speedway on Earth.
Iron made this place. Mined, smelted, forged. And every spring, we gather round and celebrate. Iron sharpening iron.
Oh, he gets tattooed!
But in order to take it all home, you need nerves of steel. The big one is back. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Are you excited for a night of TV magic?
Fox Wednesday, which of these stars will take the lead on TV theme night?
We got 'em. Good times. Iconic.
But wait, a new secret celebrity.
Love and marriage.
This feels like Ryan Seacrest.
I think that this is Anderson Cooper.
Might be Andy Cohen. He was the star in his theater class.
Or in his mom's living room.
The Masked Singer, all new Wednesday on Fox.
Did you see that? Hear that? Feel that? Let's all take a deep breath. Because once we peel out, there's no looking back. You ready?
28 laps to go. Ross Chastain in the lead by half a second on William Byron. It's been an eventful day. Bubba Wallace going around. Contract from Keselowski. Harrison Burton spin. Josh Berry with Corey LaJoie. Around goes Kyle Larson from Christopher Bell. Everybody got together there. Okay. And then around goes the 47 and the 50 Stenhouse and Kobayashi. Locking up the brake there and spinning is Ryan Blaney. And moments ago, Christopher Bell to Kyle Busch.
Not clear.
Now, despite all of this, there has not been a caution for cause on the racetrack today, and there are no local yellow flags. Track workers will put out a blue advisory flag if someone spins in an area, but that is just a warning to oncoming drivers. It is not a yellow. The only yellows we have are full course yellows.
And we get more of those at this racetrack than anywhere we go. I like that. There's no reason to throw a full course caution for that when it's just a local and they always get it spun back around and keep going.
Jamie Little.
Shane Van Gisbergen back in 13th. He just reported to his team he's got a problem with the gearbox. He has lost first gear. Now, if we were at an oval, that's not a huge deal except for exiting your pit box. On this road course, though, we've got 6 first-turn corners, guys. That's going to be tough as we move forward to the end of this race.
Thanks, Jamie. A lot of action here. Top of the hill, turn 1. That's Martin Truex making the pass on Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch trying to take it back.
Not good at all if you're SVG losing that first gear as many times as you're in it on this racetrack. You're going to be slower, and if a caution comes out and you have to restart, you'll be even more trouble. Kind of hold your own when it's single file like this, and you can make up the difference just by rolling it a little bit.
He'll have to change his driving style a little bit to, kind of compromise for all that is happening, not being able to use first gear and just use second gear. But the longer it goes, the more wheel spin you'll have, and the less it'll hurt you. But like you say, on the restarts, it won't be fun.
6th place, Christopher Bell passing A.J. Allmendinger.
Well, we know Christopher Bell has a really fast car, and when you're going by A.J. Allmendinger on a road course, you know it's pretty fast.
True.
But we expect Christopher Bell to keep driving forward. They had a big 19-second pit stop where they lost a bunch of track position and time. So he has been slowly working his way back forward. We know he has the car and the pace to run up front.
And that was his only stop of the day. Some drivers have made 1, some have made 2. Larry, what's ahead for pit stops?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're Christopher Bell that's made 1 or the rest of the field has basically made 2. Everybody's on the same strategy now. You want to get to that window to make it to the end, which is about 3 or 4 laps from now, because you can go 22 to 24 laps on fuel. But remember what Randall Burnett told Kyle Busch earlier. You don't want to wait too long. The worst thing that could happen to you with 36 drivers on the lead lap is start to wait. Other drivers make their green flag stop, and you get trapped by a caution. You want to be on the early side of coming to pit road.
You want to be in turn 1 where Byron is right now, doing the dive bomb on Chastain, who gave him just enough room, but no chance to get alongside.
Well, he tried to surprise him right there with a late pass, and sometimes you do that just to show him the nose.
That's your aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering every lap, every mile, and every victory on the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven.
But I love where William Byron's head is at in trying to just keep showing Ross Chastain different things. Regan?
Well, Kevin, just to add to what Ross Chastain is dealing with as Byron's trying to show him stuff a couple laps ago, he told the team it's getting very easy to slide the front tires in the braking zone on that one car right now. That just adds to what he's got to deal with.
Well, that tells me that he slid the tires somewhere, and it just keeps finding that flat spot every time he goes into the corner. Once you flat spot that tire, Clint, it just hurts.
Keeps getting worse. It finds that flat spot.
Yeah, and you just have to back off in the braking zones because you just don't have that same braking capability. William Byron knows it too. You can tell that he's antsy to get by, and Ross misses again
another
right
wheel
there.
lock up.
Yeah, that tire, it rolls around there and finds that flat spot, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. But this Chastain is not going to let him around him very easy. He's going to keep pushing him out, makes his car wide. That's why they all struggle to get around him.
You see William Byron really wide, trying to get a good run off of turn 15.
How important is it for Byron to take the lead before pit stops?
I want to control the race anytime I get the chance, and I think that mentality is necessary, especially when you're racing somebody like Ross, who is a difficult pass.
We already saw Ty Gibbs probably wish he would have moved him and got more aggressive. Now I think he's going to get the job done. Move him out a little bit. Take this line. Take the real estate away from him, or you're going to have to do it all over again at the top of the hill, which is exactly the case.
Well, you said this earlier, Clint. When Ty Gibbs had the opportunity to clear Ross Chastain, you need to make it happen when you think you can.
Crossover, Chastain. Bottom to top. Oh, Byron with the lead.
Yeah, and Ross learned that yesterday when SVG did that to the car right behind these two, Ty Gibbs, going into turn 1. These guys all pay attention to stuff like that.
Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson are the first to pit.
Here they come, a 25 to go. I was wondering if somebody had tried to fudge it a little bit here. Hey, how are you going to get around them? This is how. Let's go for it. Let's gamble.
And around goes Keselowski.
Now this is what you can't afford.
He is the 6th Cup champion to have either been sandwiched, spun out, or have a course-cutting penalty today.
He was looking for a gate in the side of the crash wall down there to go home. He's not had fun this weekend.
And we stay green, as you see in our Fox tracker in the upper left. The only cautions today have been the 2 4-stage breaks. I don't think that'll persist all the way to 68 laps.
Ross Chastain looking back on the inside of William Byron. He knows if he lets this go a little bit too long and William gets away, it's going to be hard. So to get that track position back, but it's so interesting as we've seen these guys take the lead and we think they're going to drive off. I thought William Byron would drive off, and here's Ross Chastain racing to try to challenge for the lead again.
So does this put it on the pit crews? A lot easier to pass somebody when they're stopped.
It's definitely a lot easier, and we talk about the mistakes and everything that we've seen all day from speeding penalties. These guys know that, and so do those pit crew guys. That's a lot of pressure to perform under.
This is what they call the money stop, without a doubt.
Well, and that's what happened to William Byron last year.
Bowman from 4th in. Top 3 stay out. One more lap. At least one more lap.
That's Kyle Larson's pit. He has made his pit stop. Maybe a lap or 2 early.
I like that move by Bowman, and he was right there on their heels too. That's going to force them to have to pit, I think.
Kyle Busch is in. So is Bubba Wallace.
If he has a good pit stop right here, can he capitalize on these fresh tires?
Josh?
Alex Bowman, that car has gotten better as the day has gone along. His only complaint, he is still struggling in 15 and 20. Otherwise, he's happy with that car, guys.
Bowman, one of 3 drivers who have been top 3 in all the Cup races here at COTA. Ross Chastain and Tyler Reddick are the others.
Well, you see the 24 missed the apex right there in turn 11.
So do you stop now and get those fresh tires on, or do you wait another lap or 2 so you have a shorter stop for fuel and better tires for the run to the finish?
Well, you know, that's the move that Bowman did. He forced their hand. I think they'll have to pit here. He was right there on their heels. You saw it in the shot of those 3 leaders go by. Bowman pitting in the background.
One thing that I see right here, Clint, though, I don't know where Alex Bowman was compared to those 2 cars behind him. If he had to pass those cars, if they impeded that lap, and that's one thing that matters as you come out of the pits. Where do you fall in traffic, and how much do you have to slow down for passes and slower cars?
It's a great point. Absolutely matters. Because that lap is more important than anything.
Here we go. Pit road. Regan.
Mike Ross Chastain's team told him do exactly what the 24 does. If he pits, pit with him. If he doesn't, stay out there. Right now, Ross said the rear tires are just burning off it too much. I'm getting too loose as I run. Jamie?
William Byron hasn't made any adjustments to his race car today, saying it feels pretty good. They also told him we're going to have to wait a couple more seconds. Let's pack it full of fuel, make sure we make it to the end as he pulls into his #1 pit box. And you notice the 54, Ty Gibbs, he stayed out.
Yeah, the Chevys pitted, the Toyotas stayed out. So Gibbs, Reddick, and Bell on a slightly different strategy are 1, 2, 3. And here is Bowman coming down the straightaway, who has already made his stop.
I think he's going to get Chastain without a doubt. That was the play.
And he does.
Yes, he does. Yes, sir. It worked. Good move by them. Chastain had a little bit of a slower stop, had trouble on his rear. I think that was the difference between him. You know, obviously he went in.
Byron got through, but
with Byron, but
Chastain.
How about Gibbs staying out? Strategies all over the place now, boys.
Yeah, and he's
what I don't like about that, if you get burnt by a caution, it comes out before you make that green flag pit stop. You're going to be way back in the pack.
Well, he's running clean laps right now, and the other 2 cars are in traffic, so it's a big risk for sure if that caution comes out.
I like this strategy. We've not seen a caution all day for cause. We've had a couple of cars spin, we've had contact, but nothing that would bring out a full course caution as of yet.
Oh, don't jinx him, Mike.
I'm not.
It won't be long before the wires start sparking inside those helmets.
Yeah.
A.J. Allmendinger up to 4th, behind the 3 Toyotas of Gibbs, Reddick, and Bell. Truex 5th. Then a bunch of Chevys to fill the top 10. The first Ford is Blaney in 11th, and leader Ty Gibbs comes to pit road 1 lap after the Chevrolets.
And Ty Gibbs was the fastest of the 4 Gibbs when they unloaded yesterday. He really set the pace for the team. As he makes his way down pit road, it's going to be just 4 tires as he gives up the lead. First time today he's led. He's led 1 lap so far. No adjustments. You see the tear off for good vision to the end of this race. Regan.
A.J. Allmendinger having a good day in the top 10 all day long, but felt like he burnt the tires off his car, just struggling really bad when he got in traffic.
Gibbs peels out, but I don't think he's going to beat Byron up the hill. There's Byron to the outside coming to turn 1. With a good gap there on Ty Gibbs.
'24's 2 up there in front of you.
So Reddick the leader, Bell in 2nd.
You go back to those green flag pit stops, William Byron's pit stop was roughly 3 seconds quicker than the 1 car of Ross Chastain, a 10.3 to a 13.3.
And without a doubt made all the difference.
Yep.
That 1 car had trouble. The 48 pounced on him. Did not get the job done. William Byron still your leader. Not yet. But as it will play out, hopefully, without a caution, it will be.
4th place there, and Ricky Stenhouse is going to get a pass-through penalty for exceeding track limits at turn 4. That has been the downfall of drivers all day.
Well, we watched Tyler Reddick go through the carousel here. His lap time last time was 2:13.10. Alex Bowman was 2:12.28. So they're definitely giving up some lap time here as they run compared to who we think will be the leader. Here they come. Well, here comes Tyler Reddick anyway.
Josh?
then Tyler Reddick hits from the lead as he comes in for what hopes to be the final stop for him. He said that car is starting to get loose. The team told him, come in, we'll get you those 4 tires and fuel, as he looks to try and go back-to-back here in Austin, guys.
I like this. 21 laps to go. He's going to lose some track position for how long he stayed out, but he's going to have the freshest tires on the racetrack for this long run.
Well, that's the only cards you got. That's what you're playing now. Do the best with what you got. I like what I saw with Alex Bowman and company. That gamble paid off, put them right where they wanted to be, got some track position out of it, matching their teammate. Might just come out of this thing with a 1-2 finish for Hendrick Motorsports.
Reddick comes out with a lot of distance to make up on those Chevys, and Christopher Bell had a bit of slip and slide back there. So he is the leader by almost 8 seconds over Martin Truex. Van Gisbergen in third, 12.5 back.
And you hear just how slow they have to go, and this car does not have first gear, so you hear it really luggy up off the corner.
That also hurts him getting into the corner, not being able to aid that car in slowing down using a downshift.
He has about 4 seconds on Denny Hamlin in fourth spot. Christopher Bell's lap times not the equal of William Byron's. He's about 1 second slower, but he's 20 seconds ahead of Byron with 21 laps to go right now. NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Wendy's Classic Hamburgers. Christopher Bell in the pits. His last lap under green was 3 seconds slower than William Byron on the same lap. They had to come. Look at lower left. William Byron's pit crew 3 seconds faster than Ross Chastain's, and that made all the difference. Martin Truex Jr. is now cycled through to the lead over Van Gisbergen and Byron. Then Hamlin and Blaney, all of whom have a stop to come. Gisbergen was second gear, lugging it off the corner, and boy, Blaney had a little bit of an issue there, getting into 11.
Yeah, it's funny when you look at the front of those cars right there, Clint. That 12 car is just so much higher than the Chevrolet with the pitch in the car front to back.
Yeah, that's not a body difference. I mean, that's clearly a platform change. Very reminiscent of what we've seen with these cars in the past, low in the rear, high in the front for downforce purposes, but it's just not the case for what you see with the other manufacturers. They're all different. That diffuser, their underbody. Don't forget that this is the short track package, road course package that we use.
Martin Truex stays out another lap. Yeah, and I think here comes the 11 of Denny Hamlin behind these guys on the pit road. We were just talking that paint up off the corners, Clint. See Denny Hamlin's crew go to work. SVG's in. Should be the last pit stop for these guys. Will be the last pit stop unless something happens.
Tell you what, Alex Bowman's catching his teammate William Byron a little bit. That's a 2:12.84 for Bowman, 2:13.17 for Byron. Catching him, guys.
Eric Jones has a penalty too fast on pit road.
More mistakes.
Martin Truex Jr. leading with 18 to go. He has one stop to make. Next Sunday on Fox, the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Richmond for the Toyota Owners 400. We'll be with you on Easter Sunday night under the lights. Pre-race at 6, engines fire at 7 on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Saturday at Richmond, Xfinity practice and qualifying in the morning on FS1, followed by Cup practice and qualifying and the Xfinity race. Sunday, race day begins on FS1 and switches over to Fox at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Early morning, Clint. I expect you to be on time. You've been late all weekend.
Tardy, not late. Here's the difference.
Kobayashi in 16th. He still has a pit stop to make, as do Truex, Blaney, Gilliland, and Nemechek and LaJoie ahead of him.
Obviously, Tyler Reddick on the inside of Ross Chastain gave him a little bit of bumper right there and pushed him up out of the groove.
And Chastain trying to take his groove away entering the next corner.
He is hard to pass.
No doubt.
Does not give up on him. You better get aggressive if you're going to pass him.
All right, the leader is in. Martin Truex will make his final stop of the day. William Byron will cycle to the lead with Alex Bowman. Ryan Blaney is also on pit road.
Big trouble on the right side of Martin Truex's car there on pit road.
So William Byron back in the lead with 17 laps to go in Austin, Texas.
Saturdays, baseball's best are back on Fox. Where MVPs are VIPs and aces always come in pairs. Saturday means it's showtime for Shohei, and Acuna's at it again. All the swag, all the salt, and all the slams. It's gone! The biggest games on the best day of the week. Fox Saturday Baseball returns Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Credit One Bank. 16 laps to go in Austin, Texas, as we celebrate Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer's road course successes in NASCAR. William Byron back to the lead, running laps in the 2:12.5 bracket. Christopher Bell is the only driver touring the track faster than 2 minutes 12 seconds, but he is 12 seconds behind with 16 to go. My math says at 0.7 of a second a lap, he can't catch Byron unless something changes here.
Well, that something's lap time. There's no question. He's going to have to find something. He's been very solid, though. And as we've noted, top 10s in all 3 starts here. About as solid as it gets.
Well, and they needed a good run. They've had some pretty off weeks, mediocre weeks. Stuff go wrong. And sometimes you got to go to your best racetrack and you got to be able to put it together. And when you're in those streaks of stuff not going right and you go somewhere that you know you've had success and you like, it just makes you know that you can go there and do it. Uh-oh, got another kerfuffle.
Kobayashi around again. That's the second time he's been around. I think the same corner, too.
He's now 33rd. Still on the lead lap. The only car's a lap down. Timmy Hill, Josh Berry, Daniel Hemrick 2 down, and McDowell.
Well, oh man, I think Josh Berry was done with whatever is happening before this moment. I think he felt like he dive bombed it in there. And Josh said, "No, that's not how we do it here, guys."
Well, he did dive it on in there, and yes, he got turned around.
Well, that's the one thing about when guys come to NASCAR racing to race, it's a different style and the things that are expected from the other drivers. And those at this point in the race, especially when guys are having bad days and you dive bomb in there like that, the etiquette is like, hey, remember this the next time you come back. Don't dive bomb me from 10 cars back.
You're going to start seeing shadows on the track from our Goodyear aerial coverage, powering every mile and every moment on NASCAR's road to victory. Goodyear more driven as the sun pokes through here at Circuit of the Americas. William Byron leading teammate Alex Bowman by 2.5 seconds. A lot more than they came to the flag in the Daytona 500 with just thousandths of a second separating the two.
Well, one thing I would say, we did not really expect this out of these cars. I think we probably should have paid more attention to the speed of William Byron's car by grabbing the pole, but we didn't think he had this pace in his car from a race pace standpoint. Alex Bowman, we thought he was okay, but we didn't think he was as fast as Ty Gibbs and Tyler Reddick in the Toyotas. But from the drop of the green flag, William Byron has said, hey, you guys are wrong.
Well, that's what we know about NASCAR. That's the only thing that I can say is consistent. There's always that left hook coming from somewhere, somehow. And in that today is in the shape of that 24 car and William Byron and his teammate, Alex Bowman.
Well, let's go under the helmet with the Daytona 500 winner, pole sitter and race leader here.
I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. I decided I wanted to be a race car driver when I was 13 years old. I got in a go-kart one time and just remember coming home and going to sleep the next night and just falling in love with racing and just wanting to be back at the track the next day. And I knew I had to wait a long time. It was over a year till I got back in something, but I just was in love with it.
Byron in front by 2.8. Here is Hendrick Motorsports' career on road courses in the Cup Series.
Well, Hendrick Motorsports leads the category in a lot of different categories, and year after year, Jeff Gordon was a great road racer. We've seen a lot of great road racers in and out. Oh, Chase Elliott around, another Hendrick driver, around backwards, coming out of turn 8, where we talk about all that dirt. Michael McDowell still just limping that car around, getting his workout for the weekend with his arms.
Chase in 17th. .8 seconds the margin. You know, yesterday all the talk was about the Toyotas. In fact, it was just Toyotas and Chevrolets advancing to the second round of qualifying. No Fords. And everybody thought the Toyotas had the mechanical grip advantage and the takeoff advantage from the corners. But right now, it's the Chevys of Byron and Bowman.
You just saw Bell right there in your shot, too. I'm impressed with that different strategy. It's still come to fruition for them. He's got a lot of speed in that car in the 20. Here late in the run, and he's marched back up through them, even with a different strategy.
And if that caution comes out, the freshness of those tires will make a difference. We see it in the lap time right now compared to the guys at the front of the pack.
.13 laps to go. The Chevys of Byron and Bowman out in front of the Toyotas of Gibbs, Reddick, and Bell.
What was the first car that you ever bought and purchased that you drove on the street? And tell me the story around buying that car or who gave it to you.
The first car I bought was a Ford Ranger from my brother, actually. And I remember the first thing I did was chop it, lower it to the ground, put graphics on it, had a spoiler on the back, 18-inch wheels.
A spoiler?
I had the nicest lowrider in Chesterfield, Virginia.
So how did it end? Did you sell it, wreck it?
To age myself, I was reaching down for a CD and ran in the back of a school bus once. So that maybe had to get my first job, which I worked at Subway, because my dad says, I'm not paying for that. You have to fix it yourself. So I had to go get a job at Subway to repair that Ford Ranger, but I eventually ended up selling it.
That's awesome.
You're going to hear all that and more Tuesday and Thursday on Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour podcast.
Yeah, we'll have that whole interview that I did with Denny Hamlin. It's a great interview. I think it'll be a good listen on Thursday to hear all the intriguing things that he had to say. The car story was pretty good.
It was a good one.
And it's wrecking it into the back of a school bus.
What kind of hand-me-down is that? You had to buy it from your own brother?
Yeah, he told me.
Tough crowd.
You'll hear it when you listen, but he said that he wanted to have the best lowrider, but he wanted to be in one of the magazines, and he got a little clip in one of the magazines and spent his whole first paycheck.
Well, Hamlin right now is running 17th. We have 35 cars on the lead lap. The one I'm watching is Christopher Bell, because Bell has passed Tyler Reddick, moved up into 4th place. And here's the battle for second. Bowman and Gibbs. Bell is 5 seconds behind them. But with Bell's lap time compared to William Byron, he might have a chance to catch the leader before this is over.
Gibbs is the one flying. He is really cutting into Alex Bowman's lap times there.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Clint, like Christopher Bell in 4th is one second faster than William Byron, and I think that was part of the strategy that these guys had to stay out there late. And in case you had a caution, you have a distinct advantage with the fresher tires.
Well, to that point, the only one in the other car that's in the 12-second, 2-minute 12-second bracket is his teammate Gibbs right in front of him.
All right, so Bell is gaining a second a lap. He's 9 seconds back with 11 laps to go. The problem is Bowman and Gibbs in front of him. He has the speed to catch William Byron, but he's going to have to go past those two battling for second place in order to have a chance to win it.
Well, I think Gibbs is the one that has the opportunity with 11 to go.
Yeah, in order to have the opportunity, though, he's going to have to go quick right now. As soon as he gets to him, he's going to have to do something with that 48 car of Alex Bowman. And the other question is, okay, William Byron sees his lead. How much is he just trying to take care of his car and pace himself?
He's really cutting into this right to the rear bumper of 48. Where is he setting it up? For the top of the hill in turn 1. That's the next passing opportunity. Try to narrow this gap up as much as you can, set him up for the top of the hill. May not happen this time.
Well, the hard part with everything that happens, the closer you get, the harder it gets to go by the car in front of you. So you got to have a pretty timely opportunity to get where you need to be, or a lot better car. But you can see Alex Bowman's car wiggle around there on the exit, and that's where the Gibbs cars are strong.
All right, it's about 3 or 4 car lengths between Bowman and Gibbs for second place. 10 laps to go. So we'll take our final Fox side-by-side break in the EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix.
Toyota Racing is looking for iron stomachs that can stand the pressure. This season, we want you. Join us at Toyota Racing. Toyota Racing is looking for quick draw thumbs that leave their own smoke trail. This season, we want you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
See, Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare home insurance options so you can get what you need without overpaying.
Yeah, we've spent a lot on this kitchen.
Oh, yeah, really high-end stuff.
Sorry, that's our ghost.
Yeah, okay.
It's more annoying than anything.
Too bad there's mold behind the backsplash. Yep, there's mold.
Well then, let's see if we can save you some money with Progressive.
Guess how much I originally paid for this fireplace? $23. Materials and labor.
Just ignore him.
You got bamboozled.
Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3 is so good, the crew is giving every combination code names.
Bis squared.
Egg and cheese biscuit and sausage biscuit. 2 biscuits. I'm impressed Tyler knew what squaring was.
Mathlutes?
No matter what you call it, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3.
I am tradition, passed down from the families that race to the ones that watch us every weekend.
You know, it's all I've ever known, racing.
I was fortunate to be in victory lane 20 years ago, and I'm here again.
I am meant to be passed down from one generation to the next. Because the only thing better than seeing a race is sharing it with someone.
A new era of spring off. Saturday, the USFL champs versus the XFL champs. The heavyweight matchup that the fans deserve. Spring just got stronger. UFL kickoff weekend begins Saturday at 1 on Fox and continues Sunday on ESPN.
NASCAR fans, you are in the driver's seat. What are you waiting for? Sign up for the free NASCAR Fan Rewards loyalty program today at NASCAR.com/fanrewards.
9 laps to go. William Byron leading in Austin, Texas. Next weekend, pro football returns to Fox. The United Football League kicks off Saturday. Birmingham against Arlington, 2 championship teams from last year to fight it out. And kickoff weekend continues next Sunday on ESPN. No change in the front 5. Christopher Bell has cut it to 7 seconds to leader William Byron. Tyler Reddick 13 back behind Bowman and Gibbs. Boy, these two have kept in close company all day. Bowman riding a 66 race winless streak. Gibbs looking for win number 1.
Just got stalled out behind Bowman, hasn't he, Kevin?
Yeah, and that's typically, what happens. So you have to have a distinct advantage somewhere in order to finish that pass off. So you see Bowman miss right there. So that opens the door for Ty Gibbs to get further to the right and set this turn 15 up and be in position as he gets towards the end of the lap. He misses the apex again.
Now Christopher Bell is closing on them. He's about 3 seconds behind that battle for second place. Oh, Keselowski around again from 31st place.
He has not had much fun today.
Nope. Oh. Still on the lead lap. Yeah, Gibbs had a chance at it. Here we go.
He's got to get up off this corner.
He's going to go for it.
I think so. I think you're right, Clint. He knows he's way better, and he's got to go now.
There it is.
Full quarter.
Going to have to use him up a little bit here. He was still pretty nice to him, just like he was with Chastain. Now he lost the position into this next corner.
Oh, that turn 1 was a good corner for Gibbs. And he moves through to take second place.
Bowman was a little nicer to him than Chastain was.
Alex Bowman knew that if they went into the S's side by side, they were going to have trouble. And he also knew that Ty Gibbs was way faster. Smart move by Alex Bowman.
And Bell's coming.
Yep.
Heads up. Heads up move.
And when we say smart move, it's just it minimizes the time loss when you just don't sit there and race somebody and slow everybody down a second a lap or a second and a half a lap, and then all of a sudden, instead of losing one spot, if you sit there and wait, Bell might be there right with you in one lap.
And that's part of the science of road racing. Pick the place to pass where it's going to slow down your lap time the least for both you and the car you're passing. In this case, turn 1.
Clint, I know that we talked about this during the break. We really thought Tyler Reddick would be one of the cars to beat this weekend. I think in the past,
he would be the one that stink up the show.
Yeah,
frankly.
But I think that shows you how good these guys are and how they go back and they study the driving information and everything that goes with why he was fast, and they get better. It's a constant evolution with everything that happens in the NASCAR Cup Series garage, from the drivers to the crew chiefs.
Totally agree.
Now, Ross Chastain is catching Reddick. He was a couple of tenths quicker that last lap, while A.J. Allmendinger is about 3 seconds behind that group. Regan.
Well, Mike, this was a deal that came together very late for A.J. Allmendinger. It was actually 3 weeks ago they decided to bring this car. Told me earlier today that they struggled in practice to get it perfect, just couldn't quite get it dialed in. But he's been pretty solid today, just a little bit off all day long. Josh?
Let's start with Chris Buescher. This is a race that he felt very confident coming into, feels always confident on road courses. He's finished top 11 in the last 11. He's had a quiet day, but he's started from the back and worked his way up to the top 10. As far as the 8 of Kyle Busch going into the race, Randall Burnett told me that this car was okay, but not good enough to win it. They've battled a loose car all day long. They have themselves in position for a top 10 finish, but not a winning car like they felt like. Regan?
Well, the 14 of Chase Briscoe having a solid day today. Yesterday in qualifying, a little bit of trouble. Qualified 28th. Team felt like it was a 10th to 15th place car today. That is exactly what he's doing right now, running in 10th, is optimizing closing the day. You got to do that throughout the stretch of a season, even if you don't have the best race car on every single day.
Justin Haley having a good day. He's hung around the top 10 all day long.
That's a fantastic knocking out of the park day for that race team.
Martin Truex just went by for 11th, and here now is the race for 3rd. Christopher Bell continues to close on the leaders, but he can't waste a lot of time getting past Bowman if he's going to have a chance to run for the front.
Well, that's the last corner. He's going to be behind Alex Bowman because he's going to have a good shot to pass him right here. Well, I say that, and Alex Bowman drives away. It's just a matter of corners, though.
He's still going to dive to the inside.
And he's got a pretty distinct tire advantage on Alex Bowman of 5 laps, which is, when you think about it, it's almost
long ways here, right?
It's over 15 miles for sure.
Brad Keselowski has come to pit road with 7 to go. And now Bell is 5.7 behind with 7 laps to go. And Gibbs 3 seconds back with 7 to go, but matching lap times with Byron right now is Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I can't help but to think, I think Byron's just got the reins pulled back just a little bit, saving a little bit of fuel for his crew chief, just in case something happens at the end of this thing. Just keeping him at arm's length, right, Kevin? You're the leader.
Yeah, you got to be smart when you're that far ahead and you've got everything under control. You got to not only save some fuel and do the best that you can with that side of it, but just slow down. There's no reason to run qualifying laps, and that way you save some tires, put yourself in a position that if you need some more car at the end of the race, you can make some lap times.
With 6 to go, let's get back in the field. Joey Logano in 12th. Had trouble during qualifying, cut the course, had a lap disallowed, and started deep in the field. And Logano now to 12th. We've mentioned Haley, who's currently 13th. Jamie, how about Bubba Wallace?
Bubba Wallace started 10th on lap number 1, had that contact, knocked the front toe out. They have worked on this race car. He even spun again later on in the race. They've stopped 4 times, adjusted on it, and they keep digging. In 3 previous starts here, though, best finish ever, 37. Mike, if he could keep it in the top 15, it's a pretty good day for this team.
It would be. Behind him, Kyle Larson, who had a spin earlier in the race. Again, no cautions or anything other than the 2 stage breaks. But here is Larson in 16th place.
Well, there's going to be some drivers with their tongue hanging out. I can't express to you, folks sitting at home, how much work this is. As we look at Zane Smith, he's had a rough start to the season with some bad luck and has a decent day going.
Hamlin, Elliott, Cindric complete the top 20. We still have 36 cars on the lead lap at Noah Gragson with 6 to go. Here's Alex Bowman in 4th. We listened in.
I need 50 feet of left and 11, 12, and 1. 50 feet of fuel. Tell him I need 10% of fuel on his lifts on the big straightaways.
That's just backing them corners up. Give me a little bit. Let that thing roll off in there a little bit farther before you downshift, but lift, save some fuel for me.
Allmendinger and Chastain might have been a little contact there.
Well, Alex Bowman last pitted on lap 44, so he was among the leaders, the first one. He's a lap sooner than the guys that he's racing around currently. So this is a long ways around. It's 3.4 miles around this racetrack, so it's a long ways to make 1 lap.
So Allmendinger up to 6th ahead of Chastain. 4 Chevys, 3 Toyotas in the top 7 spots. Then Buescher's Ford. With 5 to go, Larry Mack, what do the trends tell us?
Well, Mike, there's 35 drivers on the lead lap. There's 34 that may love to hear this. William Byron's probably the only one that does not. If you look at the last 2 years here in the era of the Gen 7 car at Austin, Texas, the last caution came average lap 66, 2 to go, and both races ended in overtime finishes.
Wow. Christopher Bell, last lap, 0.8 quicker than William Byron, but he's 4 seconds behind with 5 to go. And teammate Ty Gibbs just ahead.
He saw a pretty good slip up off 11, eliminated his chances of getting a pass done in 12. Have to regroup and maybe get close enough to him where the next opportunity would be at the top of the hill in 1.
So Bell's final pit stop came 3 to 4 laps after the cars that he is battling for the win. It makes his car faster now with better tires, but did he lose so much time in those 3 or 4 laps that he stayed out before he pitted to put him behind the 8 ball now?
Possibly, but
yes,
he did. Yeah, he definitely lost some lap time there, but it's also the reason that he's gaining it back with the lap time now having the fresher tires. So kind of half a dozen one way or the other as to where he was going to gain it or lose it, but he's still got a great car. We get a caution.
Larry says he had a slower pit stop as well than the race leader.
Well, he actually said 2 3/4 seconds slower. You think about that, look over there at the lap times and how far he's behind. That would definitely put him in the second, a lot closer to William Byron right now. Pit stop.
4 laps to go. Well, Jamie, the class of the field on that last stop, Team 24.
Well, you guys talked about it, Mike. William Byron's pit crew, these guys right here, 3 seconds faster than Ross Chastain. That got them back in the lead. But how about the guy up top? Rudy Fugle brought a car so good. No adjustments have been made today. This pit crew can focus on fueling and putting 4 tires on that car in their stops.
Saw the 10 car. I think it was Gregson around backwards in 8. Probably in that dirt, slipped up. I think he got back going.
There's that Team 24 crew that have made the difference for William Byron today.
You saw how the focus, laser focus in Rudy Fugle's eyes right there. Come on, no caution, no caution. That's what he's saying right now, over and over and over.
Yeah, when you're leading these races like that, there's nothing more stressful than the crew chief sitting up on the box, and even in the driver's seat, as we see Ty Gibbs and Christopher Bell going at it here for this second position.
And as you see these two battle, you can see Byron is not very far ahead of them. That is a good job by William Byron and his crew chief, and the communication of just save enough, keep them at arm's length, but save me some fuel in the meantime, and we'll tell you the lap times. And they're doing a great job of that. Just keep these reins pulled back just a little bit, just in case.
This has got to be frustrating for Christopher Bell. This is going to be the slowest lap he has run since his pit stop.
Well, and that's that traffic we talk about. It just when you get right there and you can't take the momentum and get by. But
well, there's only what 2 or 3 quality passing zones on this racetrack. So if you don't get it done in one of them, you got to wait all the way around to the next. Definitely cuts into your lap time.
Not close enough to make the move at turn 1.
Yeah, and as a driver, it's frustrating because everywhere that you need to get off the corner and put the throttle down, you make a mistake, and then you have to make that gap back up, and it seems like you make a mistake in all the wrong spots.
That was a second slower by Byron that time. Again, I think that's just saving a little bit of fuel just in case, getting to the end of this thing. But you never know. You got to keep an eye on that. If they're saving, they're doing it for a reason.
One of the Northeast's greatest modified drivers in history, Ed Flemke, once in a race at Stafford, caught the leader easily, passed him, but could never get away. And I asked him in victory lane, and went, Eddie, you caught him. You had no problem. Why couldn't you just drive away? And after we did the interview, he came up, he punched me in the arm. He says, kid, you run just slow enough to win.
Yeah.
William Byron out front after a lap of 2:14.2. Bell and Gibbs running right at 2:13 flat.
And that makes that race for second place really important because we don't know all the information. Maybe they are short. We don't think that William Byron is short, but
there he got him.
Second place.
You never know, that could
Bell
pass for the win.
With 3 to go. He is 1 second faster than William Byron. He has almost 3 seconds to make up in these final couple of laps. Can he do it?
Well, I think this next time by will tell the story on just how much William Byron was saving. There's no question he slowed down that last lap 1 second while those two teammates were battling in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, and half this lap was behind Gibbs as well, so it's still going to be the next lap that he's going to be back up to speed to gain the full lap time.
Two and a half seconds the margin. 2 to go.
Well, and there it was, exactly how I thought. Byron got, what, 6/10 of that right back, but he's still 4/10 slower than Bell in second. Communication is key here. Spotter, tell him how far they are. Just stay on the track. No mistakes. Get around here to this white flag. So important.
That's the most important thing. Get around to the white flag.
That makes it official. That way, if there's a caution on a racetrack, it's yours.
Leader takes the white flag. Next flag ends the race.
Well, and you see how fast Christopher Bell's car really is compared to his teammate who he's driven away from and right about a lap from where he made the pass. So,
well, all right, I told you William Byron's pulling the reins back a little. That 20 cars went to the whip. Come on, give me all you got, baby.
Big day for Chevrolet. They have half of the top 10 along with 4 Toyotas and Buescher's Ford.
So it's inside of 2 seconds there.
Bell cut it down to a 1.5 seconds. And then it stretches back out as Byron hits the straightaway. Whoa.
Christopher Bell is giving it everything that he has.
He's going to put the pressure on Byron. Seems pretty close. Back around to the front straightaway. That would make this race official if they can get around to the white flag. Then it's just a matter of not running out of fuel, staying on the racetrack. Literally those two things for William Byron.
White flag waving. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. 1.7 seconds the gap.
Give me just a solid lap, William. Careful in 8. Make sure there's no dirt. That'd be the one on my thought process here.
Look at Byron just tossing that car through the corners, sliding it as much as it'll take. He's got it down to 1.2 seconds. Jumping the curbs.
There's a
1 second.
No wheel lockups. Just take care of business.
Half a lap to go.
Been a dominant performance by William Byron and company in this 24 car. Rudy Fugel and company brought him a whale of a race car, and he's done a good job keeping it on the racetrack. Never slipped a wheel, Kevin. Hit all of his marks all day long. Boys were good in the pits.
Well, he showed that speed in qualifying, and he carried that over right to the very first lap of this race to be able to do that, Clint. They've executed on pit road all day. He's executed on the racetrack, and they have put themselves in position to close this race out with a win.
Christopher Bell got to within 0.6 of a second of Byron under braking for turn 12. So close he can almost reach out and touch the 24, but William Byron from the pole. And after a fantastic pit stop that was the class of the field. There's a couple of corners to go.
It's pretty much been a Hendrick Motorsports and Gibbs competition so far in 2024. Hendrick was so solid the first 2. Gibbs showed up the last 2. Hendrick back on top today.
William Byron down the front straightaway to the checkered flag, gets his 12th career win in the NASCAR Cup Series.
Yes, sir.
Great day by those guys.
Good job, everybody. Thanks, spotter. Good job, William. Amazing.
There's Allmendinger clocking in 6th. That's a good day for him. Buscher bouncing back from a bad starting position in 8th.
That's the way to
Truex
prepare.
all the way back from that mishap on lap 1 to 10th.
Kyle Busch recovering from a spin, as did Truex, top 10. And we will finish up here with 34 cars on the lead lap.
Awesome job. That's the way to prepare. Work hard, boys. Appreciate everything. Thank you.
Williams' mom and dad up on the box. This is Byron's 10th win in NASCAR's 7th gen race car, the most of all drivers. Teammates trade a little paint there on the cool down.
Always a busy week when you come to a road course, and preparation is key to be able to build off of what you did last time, study the notes, understand the braking. William Byron has been really fast on a lot of these road courses, really everywhere, but on these road courses, it takes a work ethic and a time commitment to be able to prepare thoroughly.
You told me in pre-race, minimizing mistakes is key to today. It sure was. You never know what to expect in NASCAR. Last week, it was a tire attrition race. Cautions all over the place today. Not really one caution. Green all the way. No chance to make up for mistakes.
Byron has now won 2 of the last 3 NASCAR Cup road course races and finished top 2 in the last 3 races on road courses. For Hendrick Motorsports, it's their 28th road course win. The next closest team has just 15.
Wow. Well, Hendrick Motorsports has been dominant in just about everything that they've done, and whether it's a Gen whatever car, the next gen car, 6, 5, 4, they figure out how to win. And William Byron has started to figure out how to win multiple races throughout the year. And when you can put your name in the mix every single week, when it's a short track, a road course, a 1.5 mile, super speedway, whatever that is, that's when you know that you're going to consistently contend to race for championships.
And for the second season in a row, William Byron has multiple wins through the first 6 races of the year. Another great start for Team 24.
Well, it's also a message, you know, hey, a lot of talk about those Toyotas and the strength of those cars. Our cars are pretty strong too.
Yeah.
Don't count us out. We're still here.
Chevrolet 1st, 4th, 6th, 7th, and 9th. Toyota 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 10th. Ford picked up 8th and then 11th on back. A rather unique race in that it was caution-free, except for the stage breaks. Last year at the road course races, they gave stage points but eliminated the stage breaks, brought them back for this year. But otherwise, not an incident-free race, but a full course caution-free race. No tire fall off, not even on the burnout.
Plenty of fuel too. It's still wide open.
Yeah, that's a great shot though, with that drone following that car doing that burnout. Great burnout by William Byron.
Good feeling too, isn't it, Kevin?
It is a great feeling.
Well, a lot of the credit goes to the men standing on that wall, because on that final green flag stop, they got Byron out first by a good margin.
And needed it. Needed it with Bell closing in on him. We're going to blow the tires off of it. They're melted, Kevin.
I just hope it doesn't catch the mud flaps on fire.
Tell you, in front of us on pit road, I see a bunch of tired drivers getting out of these cars. This was a workout.
Yeah, that's a full day's work, and we see right in front of us, we see Corey LaJoie laying on the ground.
Sure is.
On the outside of his car, and I can't express to everybody at home, Austin Cindric walking around his car exhausted. These drivers have given it everything that they've got, and it's a full day's work.
Jamie?
Well, William Byron admiring the burnout. He literally burned them down, gets picked up by Landon Walker. Starts the year as the Daytona 500 champion. You come here today, William, get your first win at COTA. So many opportunities to make mistakes on a road course this size, yet you seemed flawless. How did you pull it off in such a dominant way?
Yeah, I feel like I made a lot of mistakes in the last 10 laps, just little micro errors, and Christopher was really fast there on the longer run. But this sport is just so hard. It is so difficult to, week in and week out, show up and have fast cars. And we've had a little bit of a rough stretch the last few weeks, but just put a lot of prep work in this week, and just thankful for the team I have around me, all the people back home as well. Joanne, who helps me, and Ken, who is here today, Max. So all those guys played an integral role in preparing, but just super thankful for having this opportunity, and Raptor, Chevrolet, Valvoline, Liberty University, all of our partners, Exalta, Valvoline, yeah, everybody, Hendrick Cars. So it's just a lot of fun to win races, and it's really difficult. Oh, and relay too. So, but we're gonna enjoy this one.
All right, we talked about your boys over here. Your pit crew got it done today, 3 seconds faster than the one that got you back out in the lead. What is it like having a team like this that you know you can count on when you come down pit road?
Yeah, I just feel like when we're on, we're firing on all cylinders, whether it's pit road, strategy, calls on top of the pit box for changes in the car. So just thanks to everybody on this team. There's not enough people that get credit, but this is really cool. And like I said, we prepared really well this week, and it's just difficult, man. You just got to keep working.
All right, William Byron gets it done here in Austin.
Well, Christopher Bell comes home in the runner-up position today. Christopher, you were coming at the end there. Looked like this 20 car was really fast. Did you just need another lap there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously once I got to him, it was going to be tough to pass him. But just needed a couple of mistakes, man. William has been really, really good on the road courses, and he was flawless when it mattered today.
Saw a conversation post-race there with Kyle Busch just a moment ago. Was that about the contact in turn one, and how did that go?
I mean, yeah, obviously he's very upset, which, he ended up turned around. And, first off, I'm sorry to Larson in the 5 car. I got him earlier in the race, and by no intention at all, I didn't mean to do that. But, KB is frustrated about what happened in turn 1, and, I don't know. They were too wide going in there. I haven't obviously seen a replay yet, but, I had no intentions of turning him, and I'm sure we'll talk it out before the next race.
Thanks, Christopher. Josh?
Well, another strong day for Ty Gibbs, who comes home third. What more did you need to finish 2 spots better today?
Yeah, we were just a little bit too loose in the right-handed corner, so I just wish we were a little tighter, but we did a really good job today. My team did a great job. All props to them. Thank you to Monster Energy. He gets us interstate batteries. It was a good day for us. Good points today. We'll just keep working hard.
5 straight top 10s for Ty Gibbs, guys.
What a start to this season he has had. Very, very consistent, fast, and up in the top 10. Now, Corey LaJoie was on the ground after he got out of the car, walked around to the right side of the car, laid down for a while, able to get up under his own power. He's going to have a seat on the cart and be taken to the care center just to have a check over there after a very long and tough day. There's Corey.
Yeah, there he is getting up. Probably go back and get some fluids in him. It'd be good to go. Very hot out there. Long time, man. That's a grind for these guys.
Yeah, and he's not the only one. Carson Hocebar's sitting on the ground. There's several of these drivers that are just exhausted from the day's work.
A hard race in COTA with everyone ending up chasing William Byron and Christopher Bell. We'll check in with the Charlotte studio right after this.
So all the talk the last 2 weeks was about the Toyotas, Joe Gibbs Racing, their dominance, but today William Byron controlled the race at Circuit of the Americas, leading 42 laps on his way to victory. His second of the season, of course. The first was the biggest, the Daytona 500. Now he's getting it done in Austin. 12th time he's driven to victory lane in his career. His first time at Austin, but not his first time on a road course. Hi, everyone. Shannon, Larry, and Jamie. We know he was fast in qualifying. He started on pole position, but did you see this coming from William Byron today?
Well, and you think about it, he wins the Daytona 500, and I realize this is our first road course race of 2024, but it had been kind of a dismal run of races ever since he won the Daytona 500, but they came in there, they set on the pole yesterday. He leads 42 laps, but I'm going to tell you who was also lights out, was his pit crew. When you make 3 pit stops and your slowest is in the high 10 seconds, you had one in the 9-second, that will be a big difference maker, especially when it comes to green flag pit stops.
Yeah, quietly getting it done. We talked about it as we were watching the race. And not a lot of noise made from William Byron, but he's the first guy. And we kind of talked about who would be the first guy to get the 2 wins this year. William Byron gets it done, and the Daytona 500 being the biggest race of the year. And he has proven to us that he can win on any racetrack that we go to.
He sure has. We've already heard from the top 3 finishers. Let's hear from the guy who finished 4th. That's Alex Bowman. He's with Regan Smith.
Alex Bowman, always so good at Circuit of the Americas. I know it's not the win you want, but 4th place finish, top 5 every time we've been here. This is a good track for you.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a good couple years. You know, we had a good day overall. Like, I think we did a good job. We had good strategy. The guys were working hard at trying to get me a little more rear grip to hang on longer, and might have had it. Just where we came back out on track that last stop. We were kind of right in the middle of some traffic, and I had to run really hard on low air, and I just feel like I hurt the rear tires, and they just didn't hang on. So we had a fast Ally Camaro, just not enough to catch a 24, but then we had to save some fuel and give up some spots there at the end. But yeah, all in all, a good day for us. Want more. It's been too long since we've been in victory lane, but we're getting closer.
Thanks, Alex.
5th place finish here for Tyler Reddick. Bring me through your day and what more you needed.
Yeah, you know, me and Billy Scott were just talking about that. Yeah, no, nothing really sticks out for us in our Beast Unleashed Toyota Camry, but yeah, I mean, the obvious thing is we just didn't maintain the lead as much this time around. Obviously, the downforce level is a little bit different, so I didn't really feel like we were really bad in any one spot. It just seemed like certainly we were just decent. So it was kind of just, I'd run wherever you kind of put me. So yeah, obviously I feel like we kind of got behind the ball when I made the mistake in the very early in stage 3. That kind of hurt us for a bit after we came out on tires there in stage 3. I thought we were pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. We'll go to work on it and try and see what all we were missing. But yeah, a little bit adds up around this big racetrack.
Thanks, Tyler.
Another top 5 for Tyler Reddick out there at Circuit of the Americas. Of course, he won this race 1 year ago, but today was all about William Byron getting his 2nd win of the season. Post-race continues after this. After just over 230 miles in Austin, Texas, William Byron, the 2024 winner at Circuit of the Americas. How about we hear from a guy who knows a thing or 2 or 9 about winning on road courses? That would be Vice Chairman of Hendrick Motorsports, Jeff Gordon.
Well, Jeff Gordon, Vice Chairman of Hendrick Motorsports, out here celebrating on the front stretch. William Byron gets it done again. What can you say about William Byron? It just keeps racking the wins up.
And what a weekend for him. I mean, just, you know, he's so smooth and just never put a foot wrong all weekend. And that's what it was going to take there at the end to beat Bell, because Bell obviously had the fresher tires and had a fast race car and was coming hard. You know, I was just keeping my fingers crossed, no cautions and no slips. And William, just amazing job. I mean, the confidence that he and this team have, you know, you've been seeing it the last couple of years, but to see them, you know, really get this season started off right, the Daytona 500, now this big win. Yeah, they're on their way to another great season, and couldn't be more thankful for the hard work those guys are putting in.
Start for Hendrick Motorsports this year. How rewarding is it for you from the position you're in now?
Well, it's our 40th year, and we're celebrating, you know, the history, but we want to celebrate the present and the future too. And great runs like this are certainly, you know, making us all really happy and really proud. But at the same time, I got to go over there and see the 9 and the 5, and you know, those guys had a bit of a tough day. But Alex, back-to-back top 5. So that's kind of the way it goes in this position. You know, you're going to go console some, and you're going to go celebrate with others. So we'll take them when we can get them.
Thanks, Jeff.
Awesome. Chad Knaus will be on Race Hub on Wednesday, so we'll be able to catch up with him as well. Put a bow on the day.
Hendrick Motorsports, 28th road course win. Nobody else is even close, but now we're going to go short track racing at Richmond next Sunday night.
Yeah, I liked hearing Jeff talk about Alex Bowman. A little bit of a struggle after he got hurt last year, is on a little bit of a roll right now.
That's right. They said, don't forget about us over here at the Chevy camp, Hendrick Motorsports. We know Toyota's been winning the last 2 weeks. We're still here. Remember, you can catch Race Hub weeknights on FS1 at 6. Next week, we'll be in Richmond. Coming up next on Fox, it is Next Level Chef. Have a great night, everybody. Happy Sunday.
This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes and family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got beauty.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts, beer, and barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time, and you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.